Welcome back to Stories of D4. As always, I'm your Dungeon Master, Matthew, and I'm really excited to bring you back. We got a couple of our players here who are absolutely stoked to do another session here on Stories of D4 with the Defiant Smiles. In terms of announcements, we don't have much. We want to take a moment, as always, to encourage you to come and follow us on various socials. Click the subscribe, follow button of wherever you're watching this, just below the video. And also, if you're not following us already over on Twitter, that's one of the best places you can go for notifications that we are live and beginning another story. But like I said, I don't have much in terms of announcements. I want to bring things out here to our players just to welcome back Amanda.
Hi.
Hi, we missed you. You feeling all right?
I'm feeling good.
I'm so glad to have you here. I got like pages of game. Is at least 1/3 because you're here. Yes. Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Well, I'm so glad to have you back. How's everybody been?
Good.
It's been a week.
Busy week.
It's been a busy week.
True.
Yeah. Work sucks.
Yeah.
I know. It's I'm sorry.
Boo.
Yeah, we get the early boo out here. Now I will
We should
say
just start booing at random intervals through the sessions.
Yeah, that'll go over well.
I do have an announcement, and it relates to last session and the last couple. Is if you've been following us over here on Twitch, or even if you've been watching our VODs over on YouTube, you've probably heard of another channel here on Twitch called Distal's Place. You haven't? Turn your volume up. What's going on here? I just want to take a moment here and just say you should go check them out over on twitch.tv/Distal's Place. They make some really interesting content. A lot of players. I'm balancing 3 tonight, which is much easier than some of the things that'll happen over on that channel. So I highly encourage you to go check them out. They're often here in the chat, and if y'all are watching this right now, we have the hydrate button now.
We have the hydrate button.
We said we'd do it. It only took a couple of times of promising it, but we have it now. And the final sort of announcement thing is we are down a player tonight, and we just want to let Clone know that we hope they're doing all right, and we'll be seeing them here in 2 weeks during our next session. We're not having one on Christmas, just a quick reminder for my players.
Yes.
Or the week of Christmas, but we'll be back just before New Year's for a very special, very spooky session.
I'm very excited about. I've been waiting to do what we're about to do now since session 1.
Yeah, you know, I love having a little bit of a chat before we get started. Now, you guys, Connor kind of helped lead this, but all of you were pretty excited. You guys have been planning to go to a certain place in the campaign for quite some time, Dunsmith. And maybe that's today. Maybe you'll get there today. Maybe not. Who knows? But it is kind of interesting. I DM primarily, so I plan out what I think is going to happen, but I'm always ready to go somewhere else. You all always have, as players, you own the true decisions that happen in this campaign. You are the main characters. You are the driving force of the plot. What's everyone feeling? It seems like you all wanted to go to visit this spooky town where horrible things happened to my boy here. Yeah. You want to tell me a little bit about this?
From my end, there's a lot of balancing what you want to do and what the table wants to do. I would say early in the campaign, it didn't feel like I would have gone session 1. Just like, screw it, let's go to Dunsmith. Which probably would have been a bad idea, but balancing
it felt like a death trap.
Right, it felt like a death trap. But like, some of it narratively has been, when is Thorn willing to go back to Dunsmith?
Right.
So kind of, yeah, we all want to do it. We all have all these things we want to do, but trying to follow along with, if this is your story, when do you want it to happen, kind of thing.
You know, it's so funny you mentioned that, Victoria. This idea, Connor, I think I've sung your accolades a bunch here on the channel. But one thing you expressed to me a little while back was a little bit of worry because it was more focused on Thorn.
Yeah.
This is Thorn's backstory. So this is I'm gonna bounce up back to them, but I just want to say, this is something that's kind of natural, I think, to happen. There's this tension, I think, between, like, you're a very party-focused player. You really like to go, what is everyone wanting to do? And so we're doing your thing.
Yeah.
Has a little bit of a weird feeling to it.
Yeah, I'm not a selfish Oh, not that anyone here is selfish, but like I don't
Oh,
I don't
gotta
tend to
flip it.
do the things that I want to do. I usually just kind of go with what the party wants to do.
Yeah, you're not. I would not call you a very demanding player.
That's it. That's a better word for it.
I played a bard in our last campaign, so I got used to bullying my way through things.
Well, so for you two, you guys both have expressed a lot of interest in doing this ostensibly Thorn mission. Now, I've told you before, all of my things, I make sure that I have some. I think about each of my characters beforehand to say how can this affect y'all. But so what's it? Well, what makes you excited? Are you nervous about doing something that's more for a different PC?
It may be a Thorn quest line, but it's spooky, so I'm down for it.
You are spooky. It also might have bad magical things, which is very Ismini.
That doesn't matter. I'm truly like, this is just, give me the story, give me the creepy.
I want to know what happened. Amanda, I'm
Right.
very curious, and then Mai just wants to help her friends.
Because we don't
She
have a...
wants to support her friends and help Thorn bury his dad.
I'm just excited for the moment where Mai looks directly into the camera and says, "Y'all monsters need the Moon Mother." Like that's what I'm waiting for. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I don't have anything besides the crit corner left. Is there anything else you want to chit chat about before we jump back into the world we know?
Oh, I could chit-chat the entire session. That's the problem.
Let's go to our doom.
Yeah.
Gunsmith.
To Dunsmith.
It feels like this is one of those moments.
You're down a lot of damage tonight.
We've had, like, character death in the campaign already, but this feels like one of those moments that's setting us up for it. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like we're all walking into a trap.
Yeah.
Looking
doing
back
it-
in 3 sessions, we'll go, why
And
did
we're
we
doing it
decide to
willingly
do this?
too. And knowingly.
Right, we're knowingly, willingly choosing to go to something that feels like it's going to be very dangerous for us.
Yeah.
Well, I think danger is great, and there's very few people I would be more confident in than the Defiant Smiles at facing it. So, Connor, before we do our session recap from last week, why don't you tell me about that crit corner?
Well, it's pretty even. It's an even amount of crits and ones. Ismini, unfortunately, you rolled 2 natural ones last session.
Had a good session.
Mr. DM, sir, you rolled 1 natural 1. But you also rolled the most natural 20s. You rolled 2 natural 20s.
Yeah, all right.
And I happened to get 1 natural 20 last session. So,
Awesome. Okay, hey, low numbers, I don't think that you need to have high numbers of crits to make a session interesting.
no, yeah. The last 4 sessions I've been on the crit corner, which is great. I'm surprised.
That's good.
I never roll 20s. so-
I land on the ones a lot.
Have we ever had a true 0 crit corner? I don't think we have.
No.
Okay.
Someone always
Someone's got
fails or kills it.
I'm very good at rolling ones. I know I do not roll for nearly as many characters as the DM does, but I do roll for Ismini and Ralnor, and Ralnor has 3 attacks.
Yes.
So-
Fighters. If we had a true pure fighter, no offense, of course, to you have a 2-level fighter dip. A 11th level fighter has 3 attacks.
Yeah, so we'd be getting a lot more both directions for that.
Oh, I
person.
remember being a level fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
That
It was great.
I'm just gonna say action surge. All right. Well, I suppose we should dive back into our adventure of the Defiant Smiles and see what last happened when we were in the world we know. When last we met, having seen a terrible fate at the Tournament of Blades, our heroes were whisked away by the magic of Ismini back to Eltz, specifically within a secret lair of the Vigilantes of Eltz. They had recently learned the identity of Bastellus, the dwarven member of that trio. Apparently he was a dwarven warrior known as Vobril, who kind of gave the party a little recap on who the Vigilantes were, as well as giving them a much-needed rest after the events of the Tournament of Blades. The news, however, of all of the losses that had happened there, of the nobility from both the northern and southern kingdoms being slain by the vile Minotaur Tavrith, had not quite reached the city, so things still seemed quite peaceful. Missives and sendings had not all yet been sent out. And so the party was able to rest and spend a good chunk of the following day doing a bit of theory crafting, discussing the place of Tavrith in all of this web of strange events they've seen over the previous year, as well as a couple of other groups, most notably the Undercroft, and where the Undercroft, Tavrith, and perhaps even the royal crown of Elts may be involved in the plot involving the Bibelus trees. The Bibelus trees, for those of you who might not remember, are those special magical plants that grow a fruit that allows the creation of prismatic ink, a powerful magical reagent, and when used as a form of tattoo, imbues the bearer with incredibly strong magical abilities, unique to the artistic stylings of the tattoo artist. Having maybe overstayed their welcome over at Walt Behringer's estate, the party went out seeking their old friend Adon Castillo. The new guildmaster of the Defiant Smiles had apparently been quite busy since they had left, hiring several different lower level sort of hirelings for the Defiant Smiles, and on that day was out testing one of the new recruits, a quite cowardly gnome. They had been tasked with assisting a local beastmaster who was looking over a menagerie of strange creatures, but was having a difficult time as one of the owlbears had broken free from its enclosure. Investigating, mostly with violence, the Defiant Smiles faced off against the dire owlbear, eventually discovering that the owlbear was actually being harmed by an embedded chain, a familiar sight as one of the weapons of House Yadara, the assassins who plagued our heroes last year. They learned that the assassins seemingly had been harming the owlbear and doing so in order to sneak into a wyvern pen within the menagerie and steal their powerful toxins. Success in hand, and maybe a little bit richer, the Defiant Smiles decided to finally return home to their warehouse and to their dear friend Yosef. The princess had been returned home, Yosef was thrilled to see them once more, and it is time for our heroes to board their newly constructed vessel and make their way to the king for their reward. And I think that's where we're going to start our session here today. So I'm going to do a little recap for you, Amanda, just like the physically where everyone is, who's here.
Okay.
But so sort of when we last left off, where you are now, you made it your way back to the warehouse, back home, kind of, here a couple of hours ago, having dropped the princess off successfully the previous day, and maybe run some errands, picked up some of your supplies you need, and tended to your wounds. Rickert Thorne and Yosef Brims, two familiar faces by now, were both here this early morning, probably 10, 11 o'clock right now, maybe closer to noon. They've been singing and having a good old time together as they make food and just bring a warmth to this large structure. When your friends arrived, it seems that they intend to go head out to the dock and see the new vessel and make their way to the king for some rewards. But there's no urgency. You were told to come soon, so if you want to do anything else here this morning, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just going to fade into the background.
We had an adventure.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot.
It's never boring with you all.
Yeah, we had.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah, we had a fun little excursion. Found some poisons. Found some hurt owl bears. Just kind of doing the fill in, like the little in character recap. That oh shoot, Undercroft is.
You say poisons? I heard you're supposed to chew on charcoal if you do that. Is that?
Well, I actually have this moss.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Meany. That really gives me... Well, it's not polite to say in front of a lady. It upsets my tum if you do the moss.
Oh, well, it's also good for regulation.
Too much fiber.
Too much fiber, yeah.
Too much.
There's nothing moss can't cure.
Yes, your panacea has been interesting.
My snake oil. It was
Mixed
originally
results.
it was originally just for one thing, and now it's for everything.
Aren't you not supposed to eat the moss? You're just supposed to...
Chew it.
You're supposed to keep it in your cheeks.
Right.
Yeah, I thought
Or chew it.
we all, as a society, determined that chewing dip was bad.
You can also chew it
Yeah.
and put it on wounds.
Yeah. Put it on wounds?
Yeah, like
Chew it first and then put
chew
it on
it
wounds?
and then make a paste.
That doesn't seem right.
And then put it on wounds.
The diatribe of the moss.
Does that seem right to you? You're good with healing magic, right? Do you think that would work?
I'm good with healing magic? I've never heard of that.
Right, you're not actually proficient in medicine, right?
No.
You just know the magic.
I just know the magic.
I am also not proficient in medicine.
You're only
Me either.
familiar with
Makes
the
sense,
concept of
though.
miracles. You're like, doctors are their own kind of wizards.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Rickard, at this point, just a quick reminder that despite what Thorn looks like, Rickard is a pure human. He's from his Thorn's father's side. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm holding up. How about you?
It's been good. Hope you don't mind. I've made myself comfortable in one of the spare rooms.
Yeah, how about it? Have you gone back to the shop lately, or?
You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking about it. Well, you said you were taking Yosef with you on your next little excursion out to Shelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he'll fill you in on a bit, but I'm not so sure that shop business is where I want to be for a little bit.
Fair
Might have
enough.
found something else to do.
All right. Let me know.
We're taking Yosef. Oh, right, we are taking Yosef.
He wants to go on a boat.
He wants to go to bed.
Yeah, you don't have to take Yosef to like your big adventure. That's all up to you. But you said Yosef could come on the boat for you guys to go on this maiden voyage.
I like how you just pay Yosef to kind of like hang around.
Yeah.
He is specifically one of the big things is he is a sentry that you have. Like he spends a lot of the day just patrolling the walls. I actually have been working with some of the others from the Defiant Smiles. John sends them by. It's a big place and it's important to keep safe. Also, get some laps in. Sometimes he'll come by watching just to make sure they've got a good lookout. But no, I like my job and getting a little better with my crossbow.
Good.
We should set
I mean,
up some.
I'm not great, but I'm all right.
We should set up some dummies in the yard for him to shoot.
There are targets actually on the western side of your warehouse. There is a tree that L has been growing, but on the eastern side, closer to the bay and facing out into the bay, there are a couple of targets that have been set up there.
Are we getting closer and closer to turning the warehouse into a keep?
You have been working on it. You have
Yes.
a wall built around it.
Yes.
We are developing a keep.
Yes.
You literally purchased stone, like you paid stonemasons to reinforce the walls.
Thinking like more of like a gated community.
No, a
maybe?
keep.
I'm thinking a keep.
Yeah, we're making a keep.
Okay, well then we need a moat.
Well, we
You
have
need more land for a gated community, I think.
Right. We're one building. That's not a gated community.
But we have a
unfortunately,
community of
right now you
people.
guys have a compound.
There we go, a compound.
We are.
It's not better.
It is.
I'm thinking of all the compounds that have gone so well throughout history.
But we're not. Anyway.
Compounds don't work.
To the boat.
To the boat.
To the boat.
So let's talk a little bit about that boat. So heading on out, there you make your way out on the. Just a quick reminder of where we are spatially. The Tincto Bay is over touching the west end, which is where all you live. You live in the Barrows, and walking out of the rear entrance of your home, you get to face east towards the bay. The bay itself, as we come closer and closer to midday, has a brilliant contrast between the crystal blue water, but then the vibrant, this vibrant red moss that grows beneath the water line. Would you like to walk up and gather some?
Gonna gather some Tincto moss.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. You would know that if you touch it with your hands, it will dye your fingers. Is that okay?
We won't gather moss right now.
No. Oh, you can use some cloth to gather things. You want to take a little time here?
Don't use your fancy gloves.
Here's what I'll ask for. If you'd like to gather them and try to avoid that, I would need a dexterity check.
First thing.
My hands are red. I got a 6.
A 6. As you make your way through, you're somewhat careful here as you're kind of, you take this bit of sort of like a thicker form of cheesecloth, still a little transparent here, and kind of lower it down and try to begin scooping some of this, the bits of moss that have come on the more rocky, the rocky shoals here at the coastline. There's not a sandy beach here. It's a bay.
Yeah.
But as you're kind of pulling it past, pulling this cloth over, raking some of this thick moss off, it does displace one of the rocks. You're not quite fast enough here, and do on the other underside of your hand have this bright red sort of dye. It's only a couple inches of it, but it's not terribly cute. You could cover it with giving it time to dry. You could probably cover it with gloves and be fine, though. If you don't
I'll
want to
go
show it.
hang my cheesecloth from the tree.
Drying out some of the moss. You would need to do so in order to use it for anything. Great.
I want to test the panacea effects of the Tincto moss.
It's just used as a dye.
Yeah, and you would typically need quite a bit. You would know. Well, I shouldn't actually tell you anything extra. Do you want to make me a quick nature check? You all.
22.
22.
I know a lot about moss.
Good news, bad news. You could probably use this for something, though you would know that the form that grows. This particular thing with a DC 20, that's a success. The deepest portions of the bay would have the highest quality of this particular thing.
So I cast Alter Self, get a swim speed, go down to the bottom of the bay,
You could easily do that as a downtime activity or on a random
Maybe.
day.
and begin a cosmetics business.
Or you can use it as like a food dye and make really fancy cakes.
Make red velvet cake.
Every campaign, dang it, every campaign cannot devolve into making a bakery. I understand that it's the ideal millennial fantasy, but
We can't help ourselves. That's why I said cosmetics. I was going in a different direction this time.
No, don't make cosmetics. Do bakery.
Rounders are like, does not want to be having you testing your products on him.
Oh no animal testing. We have Thorn.
Hey,
Cruelty free, right?
Cruelty free.
as long as you pay me.
I'm gonna go ahead and begin. Yosef kind of takes a step onto this new dock that you have built. It's not terribly far out into the water, just enough so that you can safely anchor your ship. The ship itself is around 30 feet long, made of this sort of. It's a little too dark to be considered cherry for the finish of it on the outside, sort of a brownish, little ruddy red to it. About 30 or so feet long. The prow of the ship has this beautiful but kind of small bowsprit. It's essentially this sort of pushing forward piece that is on the front of your ship, though it's almost serpent-like, ebbing and flowing back and forth. If you've ever seen one that has, if you've ever seen like a Viking ship, it's going to be more like that than the typical Pirates of the Caribbean stick pointing out towards the horizon. And it's made of this bronze-like metal at the front of the vessel. You can see there's only one primary sail, which is mounted to the actual the stern, the back of the ship here, is very close to a small wheel where the whoever is going to be either captaining or piloting the ship at all will be standing at the rear of the ship. And from as you're kind of walking up the docks, you can see pretty clearly two of these sort of trap doors are on, one close to the front, one close to the back of the ship itself. There's no one aboard as far as you know, but Yosef is over here untying a rope from the dock and then stepping onto the vessel, having pulled out this sort of gangplank that leads down onto the dock. Dock itself, frame of reference, about 10 feet wide, about 20 feet into the water. Decent bit of work here. Large logs have been taken and are going deep into the mud beneath the water.
We played an entire campaign where I had water vehicle proficiency from level 1 and never once owned a water vehicle. And I think we now have a campaign where none of us have water vehicle proficiency and we have a boat.
I will punish you all for this.
I will learn water vehicle.
You have to teach me shields.
Shields?
You have to teach me how to use a shield.
I can teach you how to
okay.
use a shield.
You can teach me how to use a shield?
Yeah, I'm proficient
Between the
in
two
shields.
of you, I can learn how to use a shield for sure then.
Yeah. She might be better because you probably trained for it. I could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of got it.
I think, if you could help me learn how to use a shield.
I've never been at a helm, but I've worked a sail before.
All right.
Oh, that's
very helpful.
fantastic.
Time to learn. I'm gonna get on the wheel.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll give you as much help as I can if that's all right.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys aren't heading on some grand voyage. You're crossing the bay, making your way over to the Wanara River, and then docking over on the island in the center of Elt's Schild. It's large. What's up?
I pull out my pan flute and I start just playing a jaunty tune as
Oh,
we
you're
take
just
off.
playing a little do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Had to give us music to it.
Oh, I love that.
I'm hovering over Thorn. I don't know how to help him, but I'm hovering.
Oh, Alex with the flute. Thank you so much. All right, so as you begin making your way out of here, now Connor, Yosef will help you. Would you like to make a quick quick check here?
Sure.
I would call what we're doing, because you're kind of just going off of instinct and gut here. It's not really... There's
worked for me in the past.
I'm just going to ask you to make me a wisdom check with advantage as you are receiving help from Yosef. Just making your way out.
15.
15 is going to be adequate. Though you do struggle a bit, you do have Yosef helping explain a little bit when you have to give and pull back the sail. You do realize quickly that this sort of vessel, though you have Yosef helping you right now, you can actually be at the helm if you in a pinch and hold a rope to control the sail. It would be very difficult, but 2 people seems ideal for controlling the ship. The next couple of minutes are pretty calm as you begin making your way off into the water. The water is calm, a breeze light, but certainly sufficient a few feet up to give just enough oomph behind your sails to push yourself into the Tinkto. You see other larger ships on occasion. You pass by a few small shipping vessels with a couple of men and women just kind of waving you on your way. It's a cheery sort of day. The sun is nice and warm.
I just kind of nod, but
Nod.
I'm too focused.
10 and 2?
Yeah.
10 and 2. I love that. You're playing your flute here. Are you a how does my play? Do you stand still and play, or you get a little
Dancing a little bit.
Get a little bit. Okay, I love that. You want to give me a little performance check?
Yeah.
I know we don't need these dice rolls. There's no danger here, but I kind of want to paint
13.
A 13. Okay, going around. Maybe it's maybe as you're kind of dancing a little bit. There's a brief moment with a little stumble here, but you honestly, as you kind of find yourself missing something, you go with the rhythm of it. As you continue making your way around the vessel. There's not too much here. You can see that there's a couple of crates that have been stored here on the top of the vessel that are large enough where they don't look like they need to be fastened. Because this is not like a seafaring vessel. You wouldn't take this on a deep sea sort of voyage. Probably supplies and such. But as you're playing around, you kind of pick up what's going on with Yosef and Thorn. Yosef begins kind of explaining what's going on with the 2 doors. One of them here is for storage. They both lead down to there's only one level below you. One of them is mainly for storage, it's got a larger door to it, and the other one is sort of lodging, which will have sort of like small bunk rooms, kind of like more like booths. No heavy privacy here. Wasn't enough for like a captain's quarters.
I figure like stacked hammocks.
Yes. You wouldn't want to bring 20 people in this thing. You would not be able to bring the supplies for that much, but more than enough to accommodate your party and maybe a couple of other people if you need to. Additionally, you are made aware that should you need to, it would be possible for you to transport a small number of horses or other animals in the one side, in the store, in cargo.
Side, yes.
But probably any more than 2, and you're really pushing it for anything time-wise.
Fair enough.
Cool. I just wanted to this is the first time on the boat. I wanted to kind of give you specs just so you can use this information against me later.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I've been thinking about this. Did the Smiles buy this, or did you, Thorn?
I fronted my own money.
Have you thought of a name for her?
Not yet. Do you have anything in mind there?
Oh no. That's more of a thinking man's thing. I'm just happy to be aboard.
Fair enough.
Maybe
I'll
I
try to
can
think of something.
Throw a hook overboard sometimes.
Hey, if you want to do it now, go ahead.
Oh, couldn't possibly. We're gonna see the king, and I don't want to get the fish smell on me.
Well, someone's got to guard the boat.
He hands you a rope and steps off to the side. You watch that he immediately goes down to the lodgings portion and comes up. He has a fishing rod and a full. You see this small, almost like a little half barrel that he has there that is filled with little bits of supplies. He pulls a wide hat, puts it on top of his head, and plops himself on one of the crates on the side of the ship, and throws something overboard before realizing we are actively moving in the water and there's no way. Oh, all right. Begins reeling back in.
Do you
Reeling
have a
back in.
net?
I didn't think to bring one. I just brought the rod and hook. What about you, Mrs. Meany? You know all sorts of names of monsters and gubbins and goblins. You got a name for this? Thorn says he's thinking about it.
The Ralnor.
We'll workshop it.
Okay.
Ralnor fully begins climbing. Like you're like over here holding. You're at the helm here, and Ralnor begins just climbing up your back towards your shoulder.
Get him. Get him.
He's fully dwarf-sized now.
He's going for a swim. You better get him.
I will do all I can with what little strength I have.
Make a strength check.
18.
Nice.
Put a natural 1 down for Ralnor. This is for Ralnor, not for me. Ralnor's got his own line. Ralnor, woozy from the motion of the ocean, is pulled back.
The sirens.
Moonbeam.
The siren's answering machine.
The sirens, ellipses.
The ellipses.
The ellipses.
The ellipses!
There we go. We found it. We found it. The ellipses.
Just 3 dots on the side of the boat.
Perfect.
I'm sorry. Mr. Thorne, do you know how to spell ellipses?
As Meanie does.
She'll get the job done.
I was really thinking that we could just do 3 dots on the side of the boat.
Yes. Yes. We do not tell Elle. We let her figure it out.
Yeah.
I actually had a question about Miss L. He kind of looks over towards Lily. I'm gonna assume Lily is with you guys. Chloe's obviously out today, but this is not, not an issue for this sort of thing. When you all left, you said that the ink that Gwynny made, the magic ink, that you'd be giving it to the victor of the tournament.
Yeah. Okay, so actually I was thinking about the ink. I think the ink might be good.
Does anyone need a refresher on what it can
I'm
do?
pulling it up.
It was fire, lightning, or frost.
Fire, cold, or lightning damage. It is an ink that, should someone use it for a tattoo, they will, their vulnerability / immunity / damage resistance becomes resistance to that.
Right. I think that nobody really won, but I think that giving Elle the don't get hurt by fire tattoo probably would be a really good idea.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Elle's not
Especially
really arguing against it here.
Especially because everyone now knows she's weak to fire. That was
Right.
very
She keeps
widely
announcing
broadcast.
it too out loud.
She
Keeps on
did.
saying, "I'm weak to that."
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, every time. Don't cast fireball on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single time. So probably so that we can cast fireball on Elle,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
we should give Elle the fireball tattoo. Just 3 dots.
Yosef kind of listening to you guys excitedly figuring out what
Good
Mitch
idea,
might do with
Yosef.
this. He just kind of sitting there, he's playing with some sort of trinket in his hand, just kind of every once in a while. He looks a little sad, maybe? Or confused, unsure. It doesn't fit with the Yosef you've necessarily known for a while.
What's going on there, bud?
Oh, it's a busy day. It's nothing to worry about.
We're on the water.
We're hanging out.
Yeah.
We're getting there. But
Yeah, at this point, probably about halfway across the bay. Some time has passed.
Plenty
You're
of
feeling a little
time.
more comfortable. You haven't capsized the vessel.
yeah, I've gone from this to
Make another wisdom check, this time with disadvantage.
shit. 5.
5. Yosef has to... Okay, I think this is a fun way to do it. Yosef sprints across the deck as the rope burns through your fingers. You'll take 1 point of fire damage, pulling back as a gust comes in. You lose the rope before Yosef catches it and just kind of been pulling it up and pulling back and gets back to helping you. Reason for disadvantage is it wasn't enough people manning the ship.
Got a little too comfortable?
As
That's
he
my
was
bad.
running, though, is Meanie and more importantly, Mai, with your high passive perception, would hear a tink, 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 as a small metallic object rolls and eventually settles on the deck of the ship. Yosef standing, watching as you pick this up. You see it is a bronze badge. It is an axe with a malachite, why am I lost my words? Blade. You would recognize this because you're all wearing silver versions of this. This is a Defiant Smiles badge, the axe in question. This throwing axe is the symbol of Milton Brask. The sigil. Oh. I hadn't decided yet, but Don's been recruiting, and he thought perhaps it would be better to make it official. Originally I said no because I didn't want to get you in trouble, me having a rougher sort of past with the law, but well, I could still watch the warehouse and tend to the cart and brush Tenebris.
What's there to think about?
I think it'd be great if you joined the Defiant Smiles.
Well, if I'm being honest, when I first met you, I wasn't much of a fighter, but maybe I could get a hit or two off. But now, you're flying around, fighting dragons. I was worried you left old Yosef behind.
No, we just knew that we didn't want to put you in danger. You're our friend.
Well, someone's got to watch the cart.
Do you want to go on these adventures?
I don't want to fight things, not in the same way, but I can be a good lookout. I have a whistle. Whistle's very good after some of the previous adventures.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Would that be all right? I didn't want to say yes unless you all thought so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sounds great to me.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
We're here
That
for
sounds
you.
like
We
double
fully
income
support
to
you.
me, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, if I'm working for the Smiles, you don't have to pay me no more.
Oh, we're still gonna.
We're still paying you.
Oh, I don't have to move back to the stacks.
No, absolutely.
You
not.
see the relief on this man. It's almost like all of the thick grease we describe every time we talk to him just disappears for a moment, and he's a little Fabio briefly, and then some base spray gets him like damp against. With that,
We need to give him a makeover.
boy just needs like
Some Irish
a
Springs.
cleanser.
Irish Springs.
Does he not have a place in the warehouse?
Shower.
I thought he had a room.
He does. He
Okay.
does. He just was worried that if he did this, you guys might kick him out or be upset.
Yeah.
Because you guys saved him on the condition he'd work for you. This is a quick reminder. Because he was just a criminal.
It's a random
That we
dude.
adopted. Lay down your weapon. All right. We have to adopt that one.
That one did a voice. We like this one.
We just wanted to hear the DM have to do the voice for session.
The rest of my life.
Love it.
Is there anything? I'm curious. As you guys make your way, you're passing out of the Tincto Bay to the Wanara River, getting closer and closer to your destination. Anything else come up on the way there?
Do I get this spell clairvoyance?
Do not believe you picked up clairvoyance, but we can check later. If you'd like, you can mark it down. We've got some downtime here if you wanted to gone to purchase a spell. That scroll would have been available.
We'll do that later.
Okay.
Does it look like can we see the city from where we are in the bay?
Yes, the bay itself, at no point can you fail to see the east end and the west end. The far ends of the city are both visible. The east end, as a reminder, kind of goes up onto sloping area and kind of looms over the rest of the city. It's the Wanara River now separates you from the east end.
I got
Are
bored and
there-
decided I wanted to spy on Irish Perkins, but I don't have the spell right now.
Are there more guards around the edges?
Ooh, that's a more tough one. You're meaning much more of this. I'll say this. It's a high check, but give me a perception check.
Perception, a 16.
A 16. As you're kind of glancing about, you don't notice anything on the east end or when you're passing by Old Town, but as you're now pulling in here to the docks, Yosef letting go of the rope once more to go get the anchor, as you begin making your way and stopping by, you haven't noticed chaos or anything different when it comes to the citizenry, but the guard presence, though, it's actually not that you're seeing more guards, it's you've seen one of the guard stations nearest to the dock has a huge cluster of guards that are chatting and kind of looking around, fidgeting a little bit. The nerves seem to be high there. Now maybe they have the information that you're thinking about. Maybe they know about the tournament. But it's been one day.
Yeah.
Most of the realm doesn't have teleportation or scrying or sending. But if they know now, tomorrow's gonna be rough? It's a good question. Good question, Amanda. The next couple of minutes, you dock, you weigh anchor. You take some time here. If someone would like to pay the 3 gold fee for this particular dock.
Yeah, I'll pay it.
Cool. You quickly pay the dockhand here who comes by. You don't have anything they need to unload, so they don't charge you anything extra. And you begin making your way out into the city. It's not a far walk. You know where you're going. You're heading over to the Mudrust Castle, a big castle at the heart of this island. You know your general path, and it doesn't take too long before you find yourself. I'm kind of pushing us through, if that's okay with you guys. You guys feel free to stop me. But making your way back to that main courtyard where once you saw King Mudrust speak, back further still to the gates and the drawbridge, stopping and speaking with some of the guards outside, presenting your badges, speaking your names, and being quickly granted an opening to this large sort of drawbridge. It is a drawbridge, but there's no moat here. It's actually this large descending. It's kind of imposing being in front of such a large construct, just descending down before you, and are brought once more within the great castle walls of Castle Mudrust.
While we're walking,
Yeah, you can see the groves on your side, beautiful paths, the gardens.
if I were nobility
You are nobility.
and I was concerned with people who were not what they seemed they were coming into my home, what I would do is set up some sort of anti-magic fields of like if you cast seeming or something, you walk through it, your spell fails.
Are you using detect magic to try to look for these sort of things?
I don't want to use detect magic in the castle because I'm afraid I'm going to get arrested. Because I'm doing do.
Okay. Do you want to just try to... I will let you try to... The DC will be higher, or will be kind of high. You like to use Arcana to look for telltale signs of magic.
Like magic influence is like protective magic.
It's much easier with detect magic because it just succeeds, but make your Arcana check for me, just to kind of look around as you're passing through the threshold.
Magic.
You're still outside. There's walls, and then there's a keep on the
It's
inside.
verbal and somatic, so I would be doing this number and talking real loud, so I think that'd be a little weird.
That's going to be your decision.
That's cocked. Arcana?
Arcana, yes ma'am.
22.
Excellent. So there's going to be one success here. As you're walking through the threshold, there is the slightest of shimmers. It isn't actually some sort of visible effect just in the air, but let's say, I would say that you're probably walking here behind Thorn. You notice it as Thorn stands walking, blade on your hip, and a ruby gem, the sort of, gives him the power to use it as an arcane focus, ever so briefly flickers, and you recognize the telltale effects of magical detection and identification. Essentially, you all were checked as you went through here. This sort of thing, though, isn't a passive effect. This isn't so much built into the stonework. There must be mages looking through some of these arrow slits, casting spells, identifying you. And maybe you pick up on some of the sounds from within the walls, though getting much information from holes that are like this big in a wall, probably beyond what you can do without magic, I would say.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very good thought you had there, Victoria. As you're kind of making your way through here, it does seem like you're being checked more than before. You think you might have picked that up last time you were here if it had been happening, but you didn't see it. So maybe these are new security measures.
Yeah, I was just curious, because if I were Tavrith, I would dress myself up like somebody that the king trusted, but not trusted super well because it'd be obvious.
It does help, though, that Tavrith is huge.
Right, but you
Also-
could be a furbolg.
They could also just like teleport inside the castle if they wanted to.
Give me... I'm going to roll over your Arcana. You would think that a castle like this would have a type of magic known as a forbiddance. I'm going to roll over your 22 here. A forbiddance would allow... So there are different kinds of magic that do something similar, but The most common form of forbiddance you'd see here would prevent teleportation, typically in and not out, but it could be both directions.
It's kind of like those non-detection gems where if you're like wearing something that's got that kind of charm on it, you can't be seen by like scrying spells.
Right. Yeah.
Which I need some scrying spells. I'm getting real nosy.
I get it. Thorn doesn't.
Mine's gonna get scrying spells.
I feel like I desperately somebody in this party needs them because I would like to be constantly spying on Iris Perkins. Unless I can't.
If you don't mind a little more yada yadaing here, you push your way on further and are met by a kind courtier who is able to. He asks a couple of questions of you, making sure asking who you are, confirming the information he has, and brings you off to a very lavish side room to just wait briefly while he communicates with the court so that you can be heard here today.
I can't go into it, but I learned a whole bunch about how like side rooms worked in like castles and stuff,
Ooh.
and like noble houses. The hallway,
Okay.
the rooms that have the hallways and there's like door, and there's rooms and rooms and rooms. Oh my gosh, the sitting room thing is so interesting.
Okay. Well, in this particular case, because we are very much in fantasy where things are maybe a little oversized here, a few moments later here, the courtier returns to see the defiant smiles, including Ralnor, who has not been penned this time. You see you are all sitting on these like silken couches, fluffed up pillows, and you're in one of these... Victoria, what is the show we briefly watched? Britishy nobility and
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton. One of the this is we're going very Bridgerton in this room. So you've got gorgeous crown molding. These colors are all over the top. Everything has expensive dyes. Thorn, maybe you're sitting a little bit further away from some of these things because they're very overly perfumed. A lot of the things here.
Rich velvet material.
Oh my gosh! If you don't like touching velvet, you're in a bad time here. But moments later, the courtier Joss returns here. Terribly sorry for the wait. Now, of course, unfortunately, the entire court is not currently in session, and we do not have everyone present. But a member of the royal family is ready and available, and is more than happy to attend to you and provide you with your much-deserved rewards. I must make a minor request, specifically of you, Lady Callister. There has been a request for you to relinquish your wand before entering the throne room. It is most standard procedure, I must assure you. And similarly, I have been asked to make a sort of request of you, Mr. Thorn, was it?
Yeah.
I am told that you are some manner of arcanist, and I was to relieve you of your weaponry. No such request was made of you.
Alright.
Here's the wand.
Feels like profiling to me.
I must apologize. The two of you are not Eltian citizens, and bearing these things in court, even ones of such high standing as yourself, would be improper with the recent events.
Can I just just to kind of mess with them a little bit, can I make it go away and then make it reappear?
It reappears in your hand, doesn't it?
Aha! There you go. Hold on that for me, bud.
You can retrieve this. Wait, let me actually see if I'm intelligent to know what just happened. I'm so sorry. I will escort you. I'm feeling a bit faint. Please. And you watch as he opens up one of his... Yeah, let's say I didn't roll so hot.
I might have to wait outside.
Yeah, I was really worried about you did that.
You get to see, though, he does lock the pieces that were relinquished from you, your weapons and your focus. You were allowed your staff and your focus here. You are an Eltian and a known member of one of the primary temples here in the city.
Who needs a foci when you're a sorcerer?
Or a wizard.
Well...
I have teeth.
Not much... Oh!
I have sorcery points.
But you see, your things are locked up, and the room you were given is locked as well, as you are brought further into the castle. You've been on this walk before once. Last time you were in chains, however. Making your way through the halls, past these polished blue stone walls, you eventually are greeted by this opening of a great gate into the throne room. The room itself, much like you remember before, though the tall tower where the High Judge once sat is no longer present. You see viewing chambers, though they are mostly empty, with petitioners for various members of the royal court here. Dozens of noble lords and ladies are standing about in this sort of central area, their fine clothes lit up by these softly levitating little... they're not torches, they're more like... they're these four-pronged candle holders, essentially, that are just floating ever so slightly above the heads, probably 7-8 feet above the ground, kind of giving everyone a very warm, golden hour sort of appearance in here. Lighting, killer. But as you're walking through here, very quickly, you hear voices yelling out from the knights who stand just inside, just calling out your titles. Hi, Distils, welcome back. You all hear your names being announced. Lady Callister of Chalcedonia. Lady.
They recognize
Oh!
Chalcedonia.
They
Very
do.
nice.
They do. Mr. Laurentius Thorne of Dunsmith.
You're an Elsian citizen.
Continue your way up there. Priestess Selathros of the Moon Mother. And guest.
It's a new name.
Of course, Elle is also introduced here. Maybe you give it a little sharp look as it wasn't said, maybe with enough prestige, but you are granted entrance. And as you're kind of moving through here, you see standing up on the raised section where once King Mudrust stood are a man and a woman. Today wearing a little less ostentatious of attire than you're used to, though much finer than even the lords and ladies here. First, you see Princess Josephine, Jam. She has on here this black dress with a red sort of shawl that she has bound tightly around her. She looks uncomfortable until your names are calm down. Her shoulders kind of relax a bit, seeing her champions, her heroes
Her
returning.
friends.
Her friends, exactly, Amanda. And standing before his father's chair, you see human man, the prince, Prince Octavian. You've seen
Every time somebody.
quick reminder, 'cause it's been a little while, I think, since you guys have seen him in real life. I think you guys have. It's been a while since we
It's been
last
almost
interacted.
it's been like
Yeah.
It's been a
7
couple months.
7 months since we last saw Octavian.
Octavian, he does look quite a bit like Jam. They're not twins, but they are half siblings here. He's got darker skin. You can see those vivid purple eyes once more. He's got a little bit of a royal gut. He's been, he enjoys his feasts here, but he's still quite a handsome younger man. You can hear that he is giving some sort of speech or response to one of the petitioners here. He's ordering a dispatch of soldiers to be sent to ensure the safety of some region off to the east. Lady Callister.
Hello.
At this point, you see Noble shuffling out of the way as the defiant smiles roll up into the center of the room here.
5 deep. Ralnor counts. 5 deep. Ralnor needs a badge.
He takes a step. So he's probably he got about 5 steps from where he's at. He puts his foot 1 step down. I am told that you took my sister far north, far from the safety of these walls, from the knights, from the Valkar. The Tournament of Blades, where grave danger was set upon not only her, but countless number of the nobility of our home. Merchant lords, kings, emperors. Is it true?
It is true.
And yet, he reaches his hands out, takes his sister's hand in hers as she takes a step forward, bringing her to court more formally here. The Princess of Eltz is unharmed. The King of Issel is unharmed. And our bonds with the people of the Northern Kingdoms remain strong. I've been told much about what you've done this day. Each of you smiles, as it were. My father and I discussed how we could possibly reward such heroics. And I suppose it would have been easier simply to ask my sister for your heart's desires. I assume that is why you stand here before us today. No, please, it is right and just.
We were informed it may be best if we made our appearance early rather than late.
He twirls his hand in the air a little bit as a couple of these attendants, more of these courtiers, wearing very similar attire to what Joss is wearing. These kind of very simple yellow tunics and like these pale gray sort of slacks below. Walk up, each carrying this small sort of. It's not quite a chest; it's a hardened leather pouch, effectively here. Goes over and to each of these men and women come and stand by you. You can take them from them if you want, or they'll look like they'll carry them for you for wherever you're going here. This is a small fraction of what our kingdom owes you. As many in this room know, there has been a grave tragedy far to the north. And without the Ashen League, the Defiant Smiles, the Thunderbrand, and several other heroes, my sister very well could be dead. And the promises of a united sanctum to oversee all of Gren would be broken. Instead, these trinkets are now yours. And I hope over the coming years we will find ourselves rewarding you with more and more treasures. Quick thing, because I know you're all a little curious. Just for each of you, this is just what everyone is getting here, are a couple of little things. Inside your little pouch here is just 3,500 gold pieces and a potion of superior healing. This was what you originally were promised when you went up towards the Northern Kingdom, when you agreed to be her escort, plus quite a bit of extra gold. I also had wished to ask, though please, in my asking, do not think I'll take offense. Contrary. Laurentius, you were born in Dunsmith, one of our sister cities.
Correct.
A child of Eltz, though not of the city proper.
Right.
We wish to offer, should you decide you want to join the Eltsians, to be made a formal Eltsian citizen, and, should you wish it, be bequeathed with title, through blade or through land.
I'll take the land.
You hear Jam snort. What my brother, I believe, is asking is if you wish to become a member of Eltsian nobility.
So I don't get Dunsmith?
I need you to really quickly make me a persuasion check. And I need you to know, the persuasion check isn't you get Dunsmith or you don't.
Is it good? Is it good? Is it good?
It is good, yeah. 18.
Okay.
Could have been worse.
Okay. I was
Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
You're on
Jam
fire
starts
today.
Dunsmith is under the wise supervision of the Mictara family, as I'm sure you are aware.
Yeah, I remember that.
Though, if you would prefer, we have set aside a small bit of land here, and more than a fair allowance for what the Smiles have done here. In addition to what will be offering you within the barrows of the West End, we could consider finding you a appropriate ransom for what you've done within Dunsmouth. My sister tells me you lived in Dunsmouth for quite some time. We could expand your holdings there, if you'd like.
Yeah. Maybe we can talk about it at a later date.
Of course. You'll speak with my father's advisor.
Absolutely.
Now, I am understanding you are a proud member of the Tayrillan family.
Correct.
I would assume then you would not be willing to take us up on an offer of becoming an Eltsian noble?
No.
My court will lack some luster without you, but I respect your decision. Lady Callister, your ward's choice words have already made clear her position. I'm assuming this happened. We'll assume this all happened.
Yeah, probably.
I don't suppose that I, my sister, or perhaps even King Mudrust could persuade you to come here.
My wards will protect Elts, but my heart belongs to Issel and Chalcedonia.
Well, we will be lucky to have you here for as long as we shall. In addition, what good is adventure if you don't find yourself with all manner of magical trinket by its end? I have perused some of my father's wares, finding what we can from some of our ancestors, and I believe we found a few interesting things of note for you. So at this point, he takes a few more steps and is now at eye level with his meanie, pulling a small wooden long box out. The box itself, he places in your hands. You see another attendant walking by with a larger chest. What'd you do?
Wand.
Another attendant comes by and hands you a smaller chest, very light. It doesn't feel like there's gold inside. It feels like there's two objects. You want to shake it like it's Christmas?
Okay.
It sounds awful boot-y in there.
Like leather.
We'll talk about what 2 rings are in that box in a minute. And finally, he turns around, turns his back to you, and steps back up to the throne and sits on his father's throne. Clutches his hands tightly and says, I have orchestrated the release of Milton Brask. I would like to apologize on behalf of my father, my crown, and my city. The Smiles have done more than enough to prove their innocence and their devotion to Elts and her people.
The release of Milton is far more than we could have ever hoped for. Thank you.
Do you have anything else to ask of my father? I am here to speak in King William's name.
No, nothing, just to say that we're glad that we were chosen for this.
Very well. Be off on your next adventure. Though, before you go, as I said, my father's advisor wished for a word, and he watches Jam, leans over and whispers in his ear. And Lady L, if you could. And he points off in another direction for her. Get out of here.
Lady Alilia Arendrol.
Yes, Lady Alilia Arendrol. And guest. But so, we're gonna... If there's nothing else here you wanted to say to the prince?
Oh, no, I just wanted to do my little thing about, like, that we're really, honored by the opportunity to get to protect one of the crown jewels of Elks. And that we're glad to have been able to come and let you know the situation that happened did indeed happen, and we wanted to get to you as quickly as we could to help confirm reports.
I'm gonna ask the other 2 players and then confirm. we would more than say that Ismini Callister is quite trained in these courtly manners, would we not?
Yes.
So I would say this. I need you to make me a persuasion check. And if you're not proficient in persuasion, you are proficient in this check. And because of your background feature, I need you to roll this with advantage.
Oh.
Just make me a real quick, good check. This is a roll I'd like you to do well.
Persuasion?
Persuasion. Persuasium.
Math 20.
Math 20 is
That plus
quite
1 pulls a lot of weight there.
Yeah.
No more further words are exchanged between Lady Callister and the prince, though there is long eye contact before a nod. The prince bows his head ever so slightly as you all turn and depart the court. You guys got in a lot less trouble this time than last time you were here. That's all I'm
Right.
saying.
This is a lot nicer, but I wanted to really like lay it on a little bit with like, you know, like we really.
Do you guys want, before the advisor arrives, you guys want to know what you just got?
Yes.
You want the toys?
Yeah.
Everyone want some magic items? Hey, there's 3 magic items here. There are
Cool.
2 rings and a set of boots.
Nice.
And as always, remember, these items you could swap around later. We have a player who's not currently out, so we'll talk again when they return here and see some stuff. But for now, the first one's quite simple. This ring made of platinum. It has not a cross on it, though the ring itself has a long band, a bar, excuse me, that extends further down your finger that when clenched actually almost looks to be a small shield, longer than any of your distance between like knuckle and midpoint. This is a ring of protection +1. There is a ring of feather falling here. This beautiful, incredibly delicate looking dainty ring has these, it just looks like a pair of feathers intertwined with one another, drifting along the finger. And when placed here, you actually watch as it slowly rotates and ebbs and flows along your hand, just gracefully. It's never distracting, but just, it's always in the slightest of motion. Those are both attunement items. Ring of Feather Falling, if it wasn't obvious, you are under the permanent effect of the Featherfall spell.
Elle needs
Elle
that.
needs that.
I immediately pointed at
I
Elle.
know.
I went, that one.
And
Who wants to throw
finally,
themselves at dragons on a
Yeah, the
regular
one who wants to
basis?
ride dragons.
these large boots that are in this, the final chest, the one that you were handed, Amanda. These are boots of Stonekin. Boots of the Stonekin have a couple effects. The 2 in specific are you ignore the effects of difficult terrain.
Yeah, you do.
These are homebrew. These aren't real
Yeah,
things.
you do. No, tell me more. I
And
don't know that
you
they're
have
real.
advantage on athletics checks.
Yeah, you do. That's beautiful.
These are essentially the boots of Goliath kind.
Yeah, no, they're homebrew, but tell me more about
Yeah,
Stone Kid.
they're very much based on
They're beautiful.
like the boots of the elven kind. But so these will give you advantage on your athletics checks, you ignore difficult terrain, and are non-attunement. Also, I apologize for making you guys have to scribble something out. The Ring of Feather Falling we are not playing as an attunement item.
Oh, okay.
We scratch that out.
Okay.
Which makes it much better for skydiving.
Makes it better for everyone.
Makes it better for everyone.
So Stonekin is no difficult terrain and
Advantage on
advantage
athletics
on
checks.
athletics.
Important to note that I did not say non-magical difficult terrain, so this would work versus your webs.
Oh, okay.
You still have web, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
It's like my favorite spell.
It's a good spell.
Would like to
It's
use these.
attunement, right?
No, only the Ring of Protection. And I apologize for that, but you DMs out there, we're going to do one of our quick little DM tips. DM, you right there, you who's learning to do some DMing or thinking about trying it for the first time, if you give AC modifying magic items, lock it behind attunement. Please.
No.
I've made mistakes.
You did.
I did.
I had a magic shield that I could use while being a bard.
Yes.
It was a non-attunement item I got for free. So, we don't have L here. But do we want to talk about temporary placement of items?
Sure.
Okay.
Anyone not having everyone
I'm all full up on attunement
I'm borrowing an attunement item to have full.
because I have my ring, my ruby, and then shattering edge is
I only have
attuned.
one attuned item.
Wow.
Wow.
What are you borrowing?
I'm borrowing the magic missile doesn't hit you, and you have
Or just shielding.
the force
Resistance.
force resistance. And no magic missile and force resistance.
Okay.
That's what I'm borrowing.
Okay, so Elle can't take the boots, and I'll just tell you right now, I've talked with Clolo before, and I don't think they're ever going to want to take off those boots of elfin kind.
Right.
That's fair.
So, is anyone interested in the boots in particular? Remember that we can change items around later.
The boots are really cool, but I already am not good at athletics, and I'm not moving a lot in combat.
I would think Thorn should take them.
Thorn would be
because-
the best option.
Yeah, I tend to not move that much either. 'Cause distance casting.
Advantage on athletics will help you if someone tries to grab you, like giant, I don't know, just random thought, like giant dragon.
And it makes it so that some of the spells I want to cast are better for us, because if he can move through them.
Oh, that's
work
fair. Are you okay with that, Connor?
Yeah.
You want some nice boots after Ralnor keeps chewing the
Yeah,
magic boots?
you can't damage magic boots.
And I've been debating this because I'm going to say that in the fiction, people are calling them both. I can't ask you sometimes these name questions because I don't want to spoil things. Do you like boots of the Stonekin or boots of Goliath kind more?
Me?
Yeah.
I like Stonekin. I think
Okay.
that's fun.
These
Stonekin is great.
Then these are boots of the Stonekin. I went with the right one. I was worried I was wrong.
Boots of stone.
I like it whenever the magical items are not. Like, they are another item, but they're not. So, like, it gives similar effects, but not the same thing. So, like, the Elven Kind versus this.
Oh, that I didn't just rename an item. I named it. Yeah, sure.
I like it.
Homebrew's a lot of fun, and you can absolutely make some mistakes. Hopefully this isn't one. The Ring of Protection +1 does require attunement, so either it would go to Mai if you want to plug it in, or if someone wants to unplug something, maybe hand over an item as well.
You are down 2 slots anyway, so if you wanted to take it.
I'll take it.
What's your AC with that?
Does that add +2?
No, Ring of Protection +1 is a ring that just only gives +1.
Then 20 AC.
That's pretty good.
I want the ring. I want the ring.
Okay, you know what though? Let's I should write this in your notes that before next session, let's have a talk about all of our items.
Right.
Maybe in our
Yeah.
Discord, we'll figure out what everyone has.
I shouldn't be getting hit that often, and I have shield, so I can make my AC
You
higher.
don't have
That's why
I don't have shield.
That's why I don't.
So I
care
don't.
For it.
I don't need it,
Yeah,
but
I have
not
shield
having
as
to cast shield is great.
Yeah, it's true.
But 17 isn't that big of a difference. Whenever you go up to 20, that's huge.
Yeah.
All right.
Pencil.
Because thank you. You good? Yeah.
Connor, little friend. All right. You're back in that chamber, the little waiting room sort of place. Oh, goodbye, Victoria. And it is not terribly long before you are met once more with a certain robed figure. You've met the King Mudrust's advisor once before, the Vizier of Elts. This kind of odd, I would say, sort of man. As he enters the room, he does offer a sort of deep bow. Now wearing, you can see he's got this sort of cloak that is pulled tightly around him, dark gray with a red gambeson with small flecks of golden thread woven through it, giving it the slightest of sparkles. Though it is a bit odd, just kind of covering it up with the rest of with this sort of outer cloak. He almost looks a little bit chilly, just being where he is. His hair, dark, has been bound into tight braids that then encircle his head and finally cap themselves here with a trio of these like turquoise sort of beads. I had been sent to determine if there was any additional information you could provide me about the events that occurred over in the Runehold.
What do you know? Maybe we can fill in the blanks.
I have a reasonable list of those who were vanquished tragically by Tavrith and his interlopers. Though, for what reason, we are not yet certain. Tavrith is a beast of the Vorux, like many of their blades, but he's a rogue one. An indication of a larger movement, or...
Based on what Ismini saw with Squawk, do we know whereabout they ended up teleporting to?
Unfortunately, so you didn't actually see them teleport. You watched them.
I did.
They all. Huh?
I'm just going based off
Oh
of what
yeah, what
Ismini
they
would have told us.
What they saw, because Ismini was like transcribing it, so you
Right.
guys all have that knowledge. That little scene there is they met up, gathered, and then they dispersed into the city. So they didn't meet up to teleport. They all broke off.
To Elts.
You
Or
don't
just some city?
know that.
Okay.
By dispersed, I literally mean like a lot of them pulled on hoods,
Yeah.
did an Assassin's Creed walk into the streets and just
Right.
broke off.
I'm just curious if we recognized the streets, like if it maybe was Elts or some other city.
Oh no, that was in the
Okay.
rune hold, like 100 feet away. They
Okay.
just went out into the
Gotcha.
city and then left.
Got it. They have a powerful wizard. Teleportation magic. Seems like they can get around pretty quick. if they
Give a
need to.
good description of what you saw there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mention those? Do you mention the creatures, the fiends that were there?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is quite concerning. We've had increasing reports of these beasts, both through what you all saw when you traveled to the bulwark in the west and interacted with that oversized direwolf. Lady Callister, I appreciate this report upon the enemies of the crown. Now, have you any indication of Tavrith's subsequent plans?
No, we really didn't. He just kind of, I think it was just the most opportune moment to get the most nobles in one place. So I'm sure that I wouldn't put it past him to try something like that again at another gathering of nobles. So if there's any sort of parties or meetings, councils, big balls.
Check the drinks.
Yeah.
Yes. There was some indication that Barrick's ale was some sort of front for Tavrith and his people. Given how long ago the bid was established for the tournament, it is as of yet unknown if it was always the case, or if they infiltrated Barracks after Barracks won the bid. King William owes you a great debt. I hope you know this. And should you interact with Tavrith, you can assume that whatever bounty you wish will be paid in full.
He's not going to stop until he's put down.
Well, with any luck, you have angered him, you and the Thunderbrand and the Ashen League, and he will act foolishly, fighting against those he cannot.
Yeah, he had made some indications to me in our last interaction that he would come back for us specifically as well. So we may be nice little walking targets for him. It may be a distraction.
I
Since
do
he's
not
so
wish
mad.
to be grim, but I believe it would be best for the realm, for this kingdom, for you to lock blades with him once more and end him before he has the chance to slay even more grand nobility.
I would be inclined to agree.
Him and his crew.
What is it you wish to do now? Shall you be staying in the city and continuing your work with the smiles?
We have a small mission to go do outside the city, but we'll be back soon.
Is it anything the crown should be concerned with?
There have been reports of supplies and items and couriers to Dunsmith not returning. We'd like to go investigate that.
I believe it was you who rendered advised caution to the crown.
Yeah, there's some bad goings on in Dunsmith, which is why I had to leave. And I think it's now time that I head back and maybe take care of that problem.
Unfortunately, the lack of trade coming from the north through Helen's Way, the road that leads from Dunsmith to Eltz, has slowly begun to strangle some of the markets within the city. Many are growing frustrated with the restrictions upon travel through the area and, well, paying such a large force to guard the borders outside of the village has become taxing to the king's coffers. If whatever issue is within there is resolved, it would be best for the crown. You, of course, have permission to go. I will provide you with my sigil and a missive, which should be more than enough to allow yourselves to be pushed through Fort Harrigan, despite the embargo we've placed on travel. request you keep these dealings purely confidential.
Of course.
Retrieve what you need, get in, and return with news of Dunsmith. The people of Dunsmith may not be of the city, but they are of the kingdom, and are worthy of protection or retribution, whatever it is that is there. Very well. If there's nothing else you have to ask of the crown.
Tavrith had a wizard.
Yeah, you describe the wizard in detail.
That, to me, that's the most distressing thing because wizards are access.
Right.
I will speak to court mages to ensure that the keep is secure.
Great.
Thank you, Smiles. Sorry, there's a camera bump. I just want to make sure we're good. We're good. Yo, you good, man? You good? Oh, Victoria, thank you for getting whatever that was.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I think at this point, we're actually going to kind of jump into a weird little sort of... we're going to jump into a very brief bit of downtime, okay? So what I'm going to do, and I have a little bit of mechanics behind the scenes, but you don't need to worry too much about the specifics, is that you all decided you want to go to Dunsmith, so I want to offer you just a little bit of downtime. I'm just going to ask how many days of downtime you'd like, and so this could represent you going shopping, getting your supplies, whatever it is you need to go do. You don't have to pick everything out right now. Later in this, if you want to be pulling out, I bought spell components for this much gold, I already had the gold, that'll be fine. I would recommend probably a week or less.
I'm suspecting for some reason, and I can't tell you why, but I really suspect that I'm going to be preparing Arcane Lock. So,
Sure. You guys can note down some of these things. We'll talk a little bit, I think, during this break here, which we're going to do just in a minute. But I just want to figure out how much time roughly you'd like.
no more than 10 days, I believe.
Okay.
How about you?
I was thinking 3.
Okay. We'll split the middle and go 4 and see what Connor says.
Sure. So we'll call it somewhere between 4 and a week. We'll talk about it with Connor in a minute here. And when we come back from our break, we'll hit the road to Dunsmith, where everything is fine and dandy.
Of course.
You all stay right there.
Sunshine.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, and also hello for some lurkers over from Distals. I don't know if they have heard, so I just want to reiterate. Hey guys, we got the button. We put the button there just like you asked.
We did it.
We did, and we even have water, which I'll admit we're not always good about it. A lot of the times there's just bottles hiding behind this screen.
And
But
juice.
there's water in juice. There's water in all of our drinks, to be fair.
Yeah, but I would say that a Moscow Mule versus like juice, like one of these is far more hydrating than the other.
It's true. It's true.
The Moscow Mule, right?
Oh no, Connor. All right, so I want to jump forward a little bit here in time. So we decided we're going to take 5 days of downtime. Over the next couple of days, and please feel free to interrupt me, you do a little bit of shopping, purchasing spell components for some of your more rare forms of magics. Maybe buying some spell scrolls for some new ideas that our wizards have had. Getting some, maybe re-upping some supplies, getting a new whetstone, and getting your weapons and armor fully repaired, making sure you have everything prepared to go. What? What? Did you say and diamonds? Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to find some diamonds.
Yeah,
Not a lot, but we'll talk about that.
That would be a really good idea, actually.
You all are able to procure what you need to cast your current spells, and
Man.
maybe the spells from like next level up too.
Can I complain about something real quick?
You want to complain
I
at
have
my
a
table?
complaint.
I'd love that.
I have a complaint. I have a deep, deep complaint about Dungeons and Dragons. I have now played 2 characters.
Oh no, but we love Wizards of the Coast.
4th level spells are trash.
Yes, they are.
Oh my goodness. Greater invisibility is good. Banishment is good.
Dimension Door.
Dimension Door exists.
Okay,
Actually,
I'm sorry. Dimension Door ends encounters. If you
Fire
want to
Shield's
follow.
really good because it's non-concentration.
I just
Oh, so we only got like 4 or 5
if
Freedom
I
of
have-
movement
awesome
is good.
spells.
If I have to pick a level of spell that I care about, though, it's not 4.
No.
We get it. You like saying, I cast Fireball.
No, it's not even Fireball. I actually didn't take Fireball in this character for a while.
All the
just
5th level
that
spells are my favorite.
5th level spells are where the sweet spot is. I'd say 6th level's kind of like next to 4, and that I don't feel like there's as many really. 7th level's great.
Oh yeah.
Love 7th.
We don't talk about 8th level.
We talk about odd levels.
Yeah, and just ignore 8th level spells because they're kind of trash too.
It's hard to cast them because you only get like 1 spell slot. So like, okay, I prepare 1 spell.
This is the part, by the way, this is the part of the clip where just really good spells on the other levels are just floating right past you.
Oh yeah. If
I
you
just-
find one in
Yeah,
the
get
comments,
us in the
yeah,
comments.
throw it in the comments.
Because I have a hard time whenever it comes to preparing spells and looking at what's available for 4th level. And it
Yeah.
could just be that my spell sheet's not good, and I just picked bad spells, which is probably more likely.
They're like utility spells for the most part,
Yeah.
but like some of them are kind of like very
Ooh,
situational
you
utility.
shall hydrate.
Hydration. We got it. I wanted to see if it worked, and it did.
Well, I hydrated.
Well, we hydrate and you all prepare for your journey. Now, I only have one big question to ask about your journey. You want to check? Now, there's 2 main ways you can travel. You could go on foot, or you could do I guess there's 3. On foot, you could do the cart method like you did a long time ago. Or if you wanted to go pick up an extra horse, you could try to travel fully on horseback. Just do note that you do have Rowlnor with you, so that would be a little more difficult to go pure horseback.
Walk or cart.
We should probably.
Be good to have some horses for a quick getaway.
You also could choose to bring 1 or more of the hirelings from the Defiant Smile with you. You could bring Yosef. You could bring the friendly Dragonborn, the super helpful Dragonborn you met last session.
Don't give us fodder to die.
You really think I would do that? Just give you characters just to...
Here's the thing:
Yeah.
when we bring our horses, they're gonna die. So don't get too attached to Randall Thor, the horse.
Don't call me out like that.
Merlin?
Merlin. We should go get more horses and
And
just.
water closet. What was the
Tem,
name of
by the way.
horse?
Tem is the name of the Dragonborn.
Mm-hmm.
Was bothering me.
Um,
So you do have 3 horses right now. You could totally purchase another horse if you'd like to.
if we walked, how long would it take?
Why do I
So,
have hair?
Dunsmith is not terribly far. You walk about 30 miles a day, but given the route you'll be taking, it's a little bit less traveled of a road, all the adjustments for time, and you're probably not going to move at a fast pace, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to be traveling stealthily, you think, over the course of this?
I think when we get closer to Dunsmith is when we'd want to.
It's going to be less than a week's journey either way. I will remind you that moving with a cart is actually not faster than moving with a horse.
It's fair.
Moving on foot, excuse me.
Yeah.
Because horses move at slower speed. But you're able to bring all of the supplies you picked up. You'd have better camping stuff if you do it that way. The biggest issue is it's hard to hide a cart.
Can you describe to me some of the layout of the land of? It's not enough stones. It's not enough stones. How rocky is Dunsmouth? So like lay
There's
the
a
land.
big mountain like in the north of Dunsmouth,
Yeah, but,
but
like,
like it's kind of like a grove almost, like it's
So-
like foresty.
It'd be really easy to till the land if I were a farmer.
Yeah,
Aw, dang it. How do I prepare for this?
yeah. There's a mountain range.
It's a mountain called the Lion's Paw, just north
Yeah,
of Dunsmouth.
north side. There's a tunnel that goes through it, and then there's a small stream that kind of a river that kind of runs through Dunsmouth as well. But like it's not. I wouldn't say it's particularly rocky.
Nope.
I'm gonna
And
go
also,
buy-
Connor, whatever you said became canon.
Cool.
I really hoped it was rocky because I was gonna cast Wall of Stone and Stone Shape.
Oh, so I will say this. This isn't contradicting you. As long as you're not in a forest where rocks will often be bound up by...
There's
Oh no,
trees.
more hydration.
there's
oh no!
there's paved walkways. You know, like it's not like
The road is rocky.
Yeah.
And also, if you spend 10 minutes... Like, you can lift up stone from the ground. The ground itself is filled with rocks and stone.
I'm gonna go purchase a tiny hut.
Also... Okay. You're gonna purchase
Instead
tiny
of
hut.
using
Not a
Wall
problem.
of
Oh my
Stone.
gosh, Alex, what is that?
Dance monkey dance.
Shots. There's not allowed to be a pee break option on these channel point rewards. 20,000 points.
Okay, but like, are we gonna take horses or are we just gonna walk?
I think a cart's good.
Cart.
Okay.
Yeah, cart. We want supplies.
Cool. I'm assuming we're gonna have Merlin and Rada pull, and are you just gonna ride Tenebris again, or do you want to just not bring Tenebris?
I don't think I need to bring
don't bring
Tenebris.
Tenebris.
Yeah, I don't think I need to bring him.
Okay, so we're not having. Everyone's gonna be. The cart itself. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ralnor. Okay. Are you bringing Yosef with you? Is
No.
my question.
No.
So no Yosef on the.
Yosef looked aghast at the idea of coming with us.
He was nervous, but he
Yeah.
wasn't saying no. But he wouldn't
And-
want to fight.
He needs to practice more of the boat stuff so he can show me what to do when I get back.
Yeah.
So
He'll work on the ellipses.
I say when very loosely.
No, I love that.
When I
Maybe
get
you
back.
spent more of your downtime. Let's say your downtime shopping like the rest of the party, and more of it just practicing.
practicing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, actually, where is a PHP?
I got one of
You
those.
should grab one over there. But I have one if you need.
Everyone,
me first.
no, everyone throw a book at Victoria. Here you go.
Oh boy.
So you need Xanathars, Tachos.
Just a PHP, just a regular PHP.
Yo, I got the DMG.
I would,
Wait, I got this book. Do you need this book?
I'd be not actually what I need right now. That's not
mean-
going to help me.
I mean, you
No.
should never take.
You should
kind of
never
that.
look in that book.
What are you looking for?
The moment any of you look in that book, I will start spawning Nightbringers every 60 seconds in the heart of Elts.
Well, time to
That's
leave
fine.
else.
I
I'm
guess
moving.
Elts is gone.
Be moving.
I guess Gren is just gonna be gone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, actually, how many Nightbringers does it take to take over a continent? What are you trying to look up, Victoria? You don't have to decide all the spells you're picking up, though you would have to decide before any of the times that we're having
Right.
for today's adventure.
Right. I was just looking at clairvoyance real quick just to see if it was a ritual spell or not. It's not a ritual spell, of course.
Tragic.
Tragic.
Truly, truly tragic.
Divination, though, is a ritual spell.
Yes, I do have divination.
Meaning, do you want to join mine cast divination?
Yes. What is
What is
your
happening? Oh.
what is your item?
What is
'Cause
this?
mine's Taroka deck.
Huh?
What's your magic item? Because mine's a Taroka deck.
I guess I picked up a bag of bones while I was.
Yes.
You find you go to Tayrilla briefly during your downtime,
It costs 25 gold.
and there is a creature known as the Lunar Swallow. It's a sort of bird who, rather than singing in the mornings, specifically only flies and sings during nights where the moon is high above. When one of these creatures tragically perish, its bones are collected by some of the seers of the Tayrillans. These are the bones that you use here. Squawk tries unsuccessfully to steal a bone. So what are we divining? What is happening? Both of you just did this at me. I don't know what is that? Hey!
Yeah, have to look up.
We have hand signs. I want to make sure that I understand entirely how this works.
Yeah, same.
Your magic and an offering put you in contact with a god or god's servants. You ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. The DM offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen. The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as casting of additional spells, the loss again of a companion, and the more you cast it, the more likely it is that it fails.
Okay. I have to ask you an honest question. Do you guys want to try to combine you both casting it?
Yeah.
You can still have both questions or whatever, but are you doing this as some sort of shared ritual?
Yeah, I'm doing some. I don't know. I go buy some goat blood worth 25 gold.
Want to do the ritual in Tayrilla in the
Sure.
bulwark?
Yeah.
Let's do some goat blood.
All right. On an evening, the moon is not quite full. It'll be full in several more days. You perform this ritual. The smell of goat blood and the light sounds of shuffled cards and casting bones.
A lot of incense.
It's just
A lot of it.
so much incense. And here, you don't hear any whistles or songs from above. Now, in the darkness, bathed only in the light of your goddess, you reach out. who are we reaching out to? What is the goal? You don't pick a person, but you do pick. Are we reaching out towards the Moon Mother? Are we trying to do that thing where you're reaching towards a Lord of Knowledge once more?
Because I'm with Mai, I'm gonna do. Seti Nuvo.
Yeah, Moon Mother.
Ritual is slow. Reaching out feels wrong. It's like you're not getting a voicemail here, but as you try to commune here, you feel the silence of the first portion of this ritual shifting and weaving. Mai, you dive into the trance, your elven trance, and you feel this quiet, this stillness that is unfamiliar to you. Not the memories of past lives through your elven reincarnation do not flood through you. But there is this stillness as you reach out. And finally, at long last, the two of you, a bit of the incense, the smoke wisps together, forming this incorporeal figure, humanoid. There's an elven man kneeling, his sort of crisscross on the ground, his ears long. You see in the smoke what looks to be some sort of scar or blemish on one side of his face. But the figure is before you. You get to ask one question each. Greetings, kin.
When we get to Dunsmith, will we find any hope?
Hope is not found in a dragon's hoard, nor is it found in the base of darkness. It is carried on your shoulders. It is forged in the fire of your hearts. Should you go to Dunsmith, you will be the hope that can be found there. Is that fair with how the rules stated?
Yep.
If you find hope, it's because you guys are bringing it, or you physically are the hope.
Great.
And you?
Sounds about right.
Are the events of Dunsmith and the Moon Mother connected?
So as a quick reminder, you would know you have to ask about something happening in the future in the next 7 days.
Activities.
You're with the cart. You're gonna get there, let's say 4 days from now.
Yeah, with
Okay.
contact other planes, we can ask questions like that and get
That's
kind of
fair.
weird answers back. But with divination, it's about an activity.
Yes, I get to say more words for this spell. Rules is written, but you must ask about if I do something.
It's bigger augury.
If we go to Dunsmith, will I lose a friend?
He disappears briefly. If your exact question is, will you lose a friend?
Yes.
So this is a challenging one because the spell specifically does not assume the loss of a party member. That is one of the exact.
Yeah, the spell does not make the assumption of the loss or gain of an extra companion, is how it words it. And it doesn't include
here's what
anything
I'll
like
say.
casting. It assumes you don't cast a spell.
No,
between now
this
and then.
spell.
No, a spell.
No, subsequent castings of this spell is what you said earlier.
No.
Seems that no other spells are cast.
It assumes that no other spells have been cast.
I'm about to make a DM ruling because
Things it
the
won't
logic of that says that all augury spells should assume wizards die if they don't cast any more spells.
The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as the casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion, is how it words it.
I guess it doesn't take into account like resurrection magic.
Right.
You bringing back somebody.
It's a really weird question. I like it. Put him on the spot.
It also, yeah. To make your way to Dunsmith is to find yourself at the border between what is knowable and madness itself. Death, violence, and decay awaits you, though it is not undead who plague Dunsmith's people. Death and violence are likely to follow any incursion into that foul place. And I pray you have your allies back. I know that was vague, but I kind of felt like it was contrary to how the spell works, so I had to be.
Yeah.
Is that okay for both of you?
Yeah.
Cool. Technically, you can ask more questions because you guys can cast this spell for days.
Right, but it's way more fun the fact that I've only cast I can cast contact other planes every single day. But it's more fun to play the game and not cast it every single day.
Yeah.
Because I could ask a servant of Agama 5 questions a day.
That's so many questions.
Yeah.
Busy. Can you stop?
Really?
Could you not?
I have other questions.
Agma,
to
here's
answer.
lose my number.
You don't even worship me. Why do you keep asking me
It
questions?
just goes to voicemail.
All right. Is there anything else big you want to talk about during downtime? We can hand wave most of the shopping for now.
Do we
but-
want to... The only thing we don't hand wave is potions, like healing potions.
Yeah, we can do that now.
Okay.
Mark this. We'll talk about the prices later. I'll hold you to it on all this.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be rolling as a group.
Okay.
Okay, so this will be the total number you guys get. Remember, you have a 4th party member that you need to be dealing with on this as well.
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to small healing potions, actually, who would like to lead the skill check that's relevant for this one? This is going to be searching through. There's it's going to be a charisma investigation check.
I guess that's me, huh?
Thorn.
My investigation's high. My charisma is.
Just charisma, flat charisma.
Yeah,
13.
13. Okay, you can purchase on your time here a maximum of 9 basic healing potions. It's potions of healing. Purchase a total of 3 greater potions of healing. And this is the tough one. This is that superior. It was only a 13, right, Connor?
Yes.
You were unable to find any superiors.
Okay.
Well, then we just purchase everything that's available to us, and we'll divvy them out.
Buying
Are
all
there
of
any
those.
other
Yeah.
potions available? Like something like, I don't know, like maybe a potion of flying or something like that? Or
Is that particularly what you're looking for, or do you want me to tell you what's available with your 13? 'Cause I'll
tell me what's available with my 13.
Are we level 11 or 10?
10.
10? Okay. This is the right sheet.
Wish
Well-
we were level 11.
Oh, 11 will be nice, won't it?
Yeah, I get
I'm not
3
looking forward
I
to
get
it.
3 beams.
With that 13, you do find 3 interesting potions of note. The first is a potion of fire breathing.
Okay.
The second is a potion of speed. And the third and final one is is actually an oil, technically not a potion. An oil of invisibility. Important thing to note is with potions, how we play them, they do not require concentration, unlike normal spells. Though invisibility would still break by attacking, just like the normal spell. We're not dealing with all these prices because this is happening during downtime, but if you'd like to procure all 3 of those for the party, you can.
I will.
Okay,
I feel like they'll come in handy.
great. All of those are actual potions, so you can pull up the rules
Yeah, I'll-
themselves on your
I'll check
side.
them out.
I can give you the DMG if you're going to be pulling up the full text of that stuff.
I
Oh,
can
you got
just-
your phone. You got your
yeah.
phone. You're fine.
Yeah.
Then let's head off to the road, the open road. Tenebris, your warhorse is not coming with you, I believe you said.
Fire breath, right?
Fire breath. It casts the spell fire breathing,
Right.
but it's only for fire. It doesn't let you choose like the spell does.
Right.
So making your way out on this cart, as a quick reminder, one of the things you guys did last downtime was you did expand and reinforce the cart, make it a little bit more sturdy, and hold a little bit more, and it's quite high quality. Horses are having an easier time. We're not going west. We're not heading off to the King's Road. Instead, you make your way up to Old Town on the northern portions of the city of Elts. going through the Great Northern Gate, which I don't believe any of you have ever seen before. It is brilliant, and it is gilded without being quite as ostentatious as Hollyphandra. But the road itself is smaller. It's not quite as, it's not this wide alabaster stone thing that the King's Road was, but it is this well-maintained road leading northward. The first few days of travel are relatively calm, with the sunny days continuing a little bit, though as you proceed further and further north, unfortunately you're met with a bit of overcast, sort of very deeply cloudy sort of weather. You're not harassed on your travels here. There's one or two times where you see what look to be small groups of bandits scouting the road just north of Eltz, though they seem to choose wisely to avoid you and your guildmates. Storms continue. The brewing storm seems to grow as you make it further and further northward here. Though it's not quite raining, it's just occasional this rumbling coming off further and further to the north. For frame of reference, just to relate to our previous campaigns, where you are now is east of Taltrid's throne. You are heading more due north than you were last time.
Okay.
So that's like west of where you are now. And only now do things start becoming familiar to Laurentius Thorn. It is on this morning that you realize pretty soon you're going to be at the fort. So just south of Dunsmith, there is an actual military outpost, a sort of checkpoint along the road. A little bigger than the checkpoints you've already passed with the ogres and orcs and humans who are guarding, paying small tolls, or in your case, presenting your Eltzian badges, which allow you to proceed without payment. In your case, oh, my apologies. There's my paper. I was trying to find this. Fort Harrigan. Just outside the valley that Dunsmith is nestled within is Fort Harrigan. It is not nearly as large as many of the places you've seen. The structure proper, smaller than actually the warehouse you currently live in, though it does have roughly a 25-foot stone wall that extends east and west of it to cap itself into this little crook in the walkway. This, where you've been traveling on Helen's Way, is this large road. Unfortunately, as you continue making your way more and more towards Dunsmith, you're seeing some familiar holes in the road. Things are a little less maintained, maybe, than you'd like them to be. But as you're heading up, you see something, I don't want to tell you how you feel about it, Thorn, but you can't help but notice as you 300 feet away from Fort Harrigan, there are just torches. You see a patrol on top of the fort itself. You're not three hours out, not 2 hours out from Dunsmith. You're enough where you're high up enough where you probably, once you pass Fort Harrigan, will see the city itself.
Okay.
There's torchlight. There are people walking around. It's probably just before noon here. The gates are closed. It's not open like you're used to the checkpoint being. But Fort Harrigan appears to currently be occupied.
Go check it out. See if we can get through with our
Sigil from the visitor.
sigil, yeah.
Taking the horses. I'm curious. So this is, as you've been traveling through here, it's not as cramped now. Are we all actually rocking in the cart now? Who's sitting up front? Is it Ismene and Thorn?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so Elle and Mai are gonna sit in the back
With Ralnor.
with Ralnor. Ralnor is fully belly out on his back, out. This horrifying lizard. He is so big. As you make your way closer and closer to the fort, you can see that besides the main gate, there are on either side. It is flanked by a small ancillary door, and it is at this point that one of the Eltian soldiers steps out. You've seen this garb before: reds, blacks. No gold trim here, though you do notice a single gold badge that is nestled on his sash, just again indicating some form of rank. or other authority here. Hold, please. Hold, please. As he's taking a few steps forward, you see this human man. Looks like he's got a longsword on his hip, but no other major equipment. You can also see the silhouettes somewhat obscured by the wall of a couple of people are posted on top of the fort itself. Terribly sorry, but you've unfortunately made a wrong turn down Helen's Way. This passage has been blocked by order of the king.
Yeah, we're here working with the king. We have our badge that can let us through. We're here to investigate Dunsmith.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry to be such a spoil sport, but unfortunately my orders are quite contrary to that. I'd be happy to take a look at things, and we could stop and figure out what is causing this sort of miscommunication.
Here's a sigil from the vizier, stating that we are allowed to come through.
The vizier? Excellent, of course. Goes ahead and takes this and begins unrolling it. Well, golly gee, that is quite odd. I will have to take this inside and just to verify a few things. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Begins rolling this up. We'll be right with you. You guys can wait here for a bit. Get horses if you'd like. Go and munch on some grass.
I don't trust this.
Is
man. Is there something weird going on here?
Yeah,
'Cause this is freaking weird.
Is everyone else like this guy, like overly friendly and smiley?
Oh, golly gee.
Well, there's no one who's out here to talk to you, but you do see about, again, 20, 25 feet up. You can see, it looks like there are a pair of figures there. You can't see entire, you can just see the plumage of one, so it's probably some sort of shorter figure, but you can see a large man, a sort of half ogre, who is leaning down in Eltsian attire, looking down with you, and you see just resting on the battlements is just a heavy crossbow.
I'm checking out his eyeballs.
Oh my. Have I said something to offend you?
I'm looking for any sign that this man is not thinking with his own brain.
What do you mean? What does this mean?
Is he possessed? Is he charmed? Is he under some
Make
sort
me
of
an
magical
insight
effect?
check. I'm not sure exactly what sort of things you're looking for. Let's see if the dice tell us.
A natural 20 for an insight, 26.
As he looks at you, asking if he's offended you, you're a bit confused. You were taken back, right? Is that fair to say? A little bit. He holds it a little too long. You can't help but notice. There's no discomfort. You don't see sweat or there's no micro twitch here, but he just looks at you for a moment. Well then, I will go ahead and speak with my superiors inside just to verify these orders.
He's been Stepford wived.
Yeah, okay. If you've never
Like I
read
said-
it, great thing to read.
If you want, if you'd like, we can fetch some water for your horses, and if you need us to refresh any of your supplies, we can do that while you're here.
Are you in
Absolutely
command?
not.
Or maybe
Oh,
we can
no.
speak to your...
That would be the captain.
Can we speak to your captain?
Certainly.
I'm about to chop my hair off and ask to speak to your manager.
Okay. Oh,
You need rocking that bob, asymmetrical.
certainly. Well, would you? The captain is awful busy. It would be hard for me to get him to leave.
I'm
his
sure he
station.
could make time for the king, couldn't he?
Make a persuasion check.
Yeah, buddy.
That's 21.
It's a 20. Oh, okay.
Oh, mark me down for a natural 20.
I did.
Good.
I got you.
Thank you.
I need everyone I can get.
Well, I'm not. Well, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure if the captain will have time to come out down to the road. He's awful busy with all of his paperwork. Perhaps you'd like to come inside and we could say hello. Go over this and figure out what exactly is going wrong. Because unfortunately, that gate's not going to open. You're going to have to turn and head back wherever you came from.
Who'd like to stay with the cart?
Maya and Elle will stay with the cart.
All right.
You also do have L Roundlore if you don't if you don't want to.
If you want to go with
Left.
us, we're Al and Roundler.
It's up
we
to
get
you
the cart.
though.
I'll come with you.
Okay, great. I did forget about Al and Roundler.
Okay, so you have 2 NPCs if you want to use them.
That's great.
Just today.
Cool.
And L's more than competent.
Right. Elle will just yell loudly, battle cry.
Of course. All right. Well, please come with me. He turns and begins walking up towards the one of these small ancillary doors, which immediately leads to a small staircase. Are you just following on behind?
Yep.
I'm head to the
As he
swivel.
hits the road, He just begins whistling, humming to himself.
I'm listening. Do I hear like pounding boots, like people are marching or running
Give me a
around?
perception check. That's an awesome question.
My head's on a swivel.
Math 20.
Math 20? Nope. You don't hear alarms. You don't hear hushed whispers. You don't hear talking, though. You
Right.
just... Now, as you kind of take a step up, you see that inside, as you make it up to this next little section, you're kind of in an elongated hallway. It looks like to your right, where he's turning towards, there's some sort of central gathering area. And there are a couple of doors that lead in different directions. But you can see further down to your left, there's like 3 groups of just a pair of guards standing by a door. Another set of guards. And they're just kind of standing there.
How tall are the ceilings?
9 feet.
Not
Not super tall. The
enough.
structure itself is roughly... Would you compare it to the warehouse in terms of how large it is, not counting the outer walls, which are likely hollowed out?
I know I'm a wizard, but this is not a fireball question.
Ooh, okay.
This is
I'm
not, that was
gonna-
not a fireball question.
I'm gonna use 2 sorcery points, psionic sorcery, and cast detect thoughts. I just want to see or listen to what I can find.
I was gonna send Squawk to find the mess hall.
I'd like to give Connor a bicycle. Who are you... Now, do you get to change who you're thinking, or is it just one
It's a
person at time?
concentration spell, so
So
it's
can you-
one person at a time, I believe. But let me
Okay.
check.
No one reacts to this. He's turning and walking. This walk is probably still going to be a little bit. You can see that every once in a while he walks past another guard and nods to the guard.
There's
The
no
other
way
guard
they
nods
could
at
react
him.
because they didn't even know I cast the spell.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No one... No, the only way they react is if they were reading your mind, which
Yeah,
doesn't appear that that's the case.
For the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures when you cast a spell as your action on your turn. Blah, blah. You can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet. Yeah, so it's just one person at a time.
Okay.
One person per cast?
No, it's concentration, so I can move around.
So who would like to concentrate on as we're going up these stairs, getting...
let's
getting
concentrate on Happy Man here.
Oh, okay. All right. As you begin focusing in... Thorn. I would say that when you cast this spell normally, and let's say you focus on his meanie, the birds and the shuffling and the sounds of boots would deaden a little bit in your mind, and you'd start hearing the numbers. You'd start hearing her thoughts, shopping, like where she needs to go to gather her resources, thinking about caution for L. So you have that effect where things get quiet as you're focusing in to the dead silence before you.
This guy has no brain. This guy
Can you
has
say
no
anything
brain.
out loud?
No, I'm gonna whisper to his meeting and be like,
Oh wait, you have your telepathy.
oh yeah, but does that break?
It's
my
not concentration.
Okay.
Not concentration.
Then I will do that and say, this man has no thoughts.
I was gonna send Squawk out.
None.
I was gonna send Squawk out to see if there's anybody like not
Why,
doing
hello
their,
there. Hello there.
not doing their job.
I'll switch to someone else. Same thing.
You switch over. You can see there is a gnomish woman who is standing there. She has what looks to be more like a short sword on her hip, but otherwise the same attire. Who nods to you, hello there. As you go past, nothing.
I'm gonna send.
Dead silent.
I'm gonna pop Squawk outside, and like, because I was gonna do this inside, but the ceilings are only 9 feet tall, so he's not good at hiding. But I was gonna like look.
Yeah, not a lot of great places. There are some spaces you could try to do it inside, but it's hard.
But I want to see if anybody on the wall is like not doing their job. Like anybody shifting? Is anybody shifting in their?
Smart.
Oh, that's dirty.
Is anybody shifting?
Give me an investigation check. And you know what? It's broad freaking daylight. It's clever. Roll with advantage. You got time.
Natural 20
God dang it.
for a 25.
Why do I say nice things to you? So I would say a couple things. I want to clarify where you guys are because this takes a little while.
Two in a row.
It is at this point that you walk, that you're brought into the central area, and you can see there is another human man. This one looking a little bit older. You can see he's got a brown beard that is a little overgrown, with this almost partially off-centered gray streak in his beard. Like it's towards the bottom. It's really nice.
I thought you were gonna tell me there was an off-center soul patch. I was so excited.
Nope, no soul patch. Is it inverse goatee?
It's like, dude,
I love off-center.
But you see, as you're walking in, you just hear the scratching of parchment, and Quill looks up. Oh, hello, welcome. It seems we've brought guests. What has brought you to Fort Harrigan? Dead silent. Is at this point the man, your first companion begins speaking up. Captain Paz, these people have a missive here. They say that they've been given orders to come through the gate. As the two kind of begin exchanging information, you kind of get this sense very clearly, kind of going back and forth. I'm so sorry to be such a bellyacher, but the gates are supposed to stay closed. We've got orders from the king. You can't come through here.
We have orders from the king to.
Well, I'm happy to take a look.
Through the gate.
I'm so sorry. You must have been misled. These appear to be fraudulent.
Okay, I guess we'll be on our way.
Yeah, I'm still in the air.
Yes, he begins kind of rolling this up.
I'll take that back.
I would advise you to take your cart and return back to where you came.
Absolutely. I'm gonna mind link with you guys individually. Just say we're blowing through this gate. Okay. I guess we'll see ourselves out. Bye.
It's meaning you're still looking through the outside. The guards as you walk. Cause you said you're doing this as you're kind of. You're like, are you holding on to
I'm
mine?
holding on to mine. I was.
Yeah, I
The
have my
guards
arm out.
standing. You walk inside.
They're puppets.
Yeah!
Got me! Oh, that's so exciting!
It's a mystery.
I'm desperately trying to make eye contact with you, like. The guards all fell over when we went inside.
They're nothing.
They're ragdolls.
Yes. Nothing in the brain. Nothing. No brain.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. Lieutenant Gunk, do me a favor and escort these fine folks down Helen's Way. Make sure they find their way back to the legal lands.
What was your name again, sir?
I'm Captain Paz.
Captain Paz.
Yes,
What's your first name?
Paz is my first name.
Oh, what's your last name?
What's your last name?
I don't need my notes. I need a die.
This does not compute.
Why, Paz is my last name.
All right. Great to meet you, Paz.
Bye, Paz.
Great to meet you.
Let's get to the gate.
I have the excitement tears. This is so exciting.
You begin walking back down the hallway. It was great to meet you, the gnome says, as you turn and walk past her.
Okay, bye.
Is there anyone who's elvish?
You've not noticed any elves, no.
Okay.
Oh.
But elves are all, that's not necessarily weird, as elves are not commonly Elsie. Elves aren't often Elsian soldiers.
I was gonna speak elvish to see if anybody would how they reacted to that.
There is a dragonborn.
Just to be sure, I'm not recognizing any of these people. Like maybe I've run into them in the past.
Give me a quick history check. I'm so sorry. We can rewind. That's a good question. I should have prompted you for
I
that.
should have asked that at the beginning. A 7.
Only person you've ever seen, and you don't know this person, you just literally have seen them before, is Captain Paz.
Okay.
You've seen soldiers pass through before, and
Yeah.
he's a dude that's been around Dunsmith plenty.
These are the nicest soldiers I've ever met.
Yeah, it's been very hospitable.
Yeah.
Gonk, the lieutenant here, is walking by you. Well, I'm so sorry we weren't able to get this resolved, but you know what? Why don't you tell me a little bit of your story as we make our way back south?
We're just weary travelers.
Oh, that's so tragic. You know, there are quite a few, there's a village, not even a half day's journey, just that way. Pointing southward. Not quite along the road either, but he's just pointing out. you should be able to find lodging there. And do you need coin to do so? Pulls out 2 gold pieces. This should be plenty. Always pay it forward.
Of course.
Of course. Thank you so much, Gonk.
Let us be off.
The Moon Mother's blessings be with you.
Let me know when we get to the gate. Get in the cart.
Yes. At this point, you are standing by the cart. Elle is looking around. Elle is like sitting in the front, feet up. Make probably some sassy joke about, are we ready to go?
Is there a...
How was the gate constructed of?
Yeah, how's the gate look?
The gate itself, I did describe it as wood, but this isn't like some grand castle gate. I mean, it would be possible with strong magic spells to damage it. You can see though, the gate itself, it's not some big, the gate itself looks like it would normally just be pushed open by people, not like a big mechanism.
I can boom it, or you can boom it. It's up to you.
We could boom it.
You guys can boom it? Okay. Then I will act as... I don't know. I'll keep him busy while you boom it.
Shall we head south now?
Mind Link? 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Do it.
We cast Fireball.
Roll for initiative, everybody! Thorn?
14.
We don't want to kill him. We just need to get through the gate.
Exactly.
They're already dead.
They're not dead.
4.
4. I love it. Is Meanie?
Roundor.
Do you want to go Roundor with you? You want to switch to that? Is that or no, we can't.
Roundor got a 17 and I got a 5. I got a 5.
Cool.
I'll mark off my fireball spell slot.
Okay, one second. Separating all my things. This is fun. So, am I correct in this? Is everyone in the cart, or are you Thorn standing next to the cart?
I'm not in the cart. I'm standing next to it.
But everyone else is in the cart?
I'm assuming, yeah.
Yeah.
During this, I'll call it what it is. It's a surprise round. Is Thorn, I will say you were using that mental magic here to synchronize that and distracting. You're like chatting, talking. And as Meanie and I am taking Fireball as that action here during the surprise round.
Yeah.
Sorry for limiting your options, but it would seem very clear your intent. Is that all fine?
Sounds perfect to me.
However, I need to know the total Fireball damage. Guys, you could do this. It is possible with 2 Fireballs.
Not with my low one.
Wood is vulnerable to fire.
It was only 15. I rolled 5 ones.
29?
29.
15. I rolled 5 ones.
29 plus 15 is going to be what?
44.
30.
44.
Oh my gosh, I heard 30s for a moment. I was like, no, 44.
44. I didn't do the last
That's
number.
88 points of damage. You shoot these 2 massive bolts of beads of fire, which strike the center of it. I mentioned this. People push the door open. It's not a huge mechanism. This isn't like a crazy secure checkpoint.
Got a big hole now.
You shatter. Maybe it's the right size. Maybe it's not. You're not sure. Either way. Oh my god. Should I have Elle have the reins since Elle's not here?
Yeah.
Elle. Okay. Yeah.
We didn't tell Elle anything.
Tell Elle nothing.
Nope.
Elle's like, I am ready for the violence now.
Ride or die.
And you watch as Elle, yeah, ride or die. Elle charges forward and you begin booking it. At that same point, is Meanie? You hear Squawk freak out as all of the guards stand and begin turn, rotating in place. We're gonna start the start of the next round. I think Ralnor, who's on the cart, is standing there, a little confused. You're just in the cart, going rapidly forward.
Ralnor is just gonna sit next to Elle because we need our driver to stay safe. So Ralnor's gonna do the whole like thing.
You order Ralnor to protect Elle.
Yeah.
Ralnor leaps over. He's gonna stay. He's in the back of the cart, the trunk, effectively here, and just stands up on the little raised wall between that and where you sit, and is kind of just standing there, a little protective, his protective carapace playing defense. That'll then be Thorn's turn. Thorn, here's what I'm gonna describe what's happening, because this is kind of a chase, kind of movement sort of thing. Thorn, as you turn, bursting through that central area, you can see deep recesses forming on the right side of the cart, but everything still seems to be functioning. The horse is freaking out, panicked. Elle's doing everything on her turn to control stuff.
What came out? What attacked the cart?
So pushing through the hole you created, the shards of wood here.
Okay.
But the cart is mostly undamaged.
Gotcha.
But as you turn, looking behind you, now you're passing along Helen's Way northward towards Dunsmith. On either side of the road, past about 10 feet, is going to be relatively dense wood. The thick wooded regions you were talking about earlier with Ismini. As you kind of turn and look behind you, you watch as not one, not two, but 5 men leap off the top of the actual wall and begin sprinting after the cart. You watch as they're running behind just full dash. They're not in melee range, but they're all within about 40 feet behind you. This is all the kind of flavor of what's happening here as they've been chasing. Moments later, you see others begin pouring out from the fort itself and begin sprinting. You see the little gnomish woman coming up from behind as well. But the closest person to you is Lieutenant Gonk. It's your turn.
I'm just gonna draw my sword, swing at him.
Sure, he's...
Casting Booming Blade.
So, no one's in the cart, and they're all a little bit behind. You can use range attacks, right?
Okay,
No
cool.
one's in the cart yet. I'll tell
I'm
you know
just
if
gonna Eldritch Blast the boy.
Boom, boom. Begin firing at Gonk. All right, make your attack rolls.
12 and 16.
Only one of those is going to... I'm so sorry, 12 and 16?
Yeah.
Neither of those hit.
Damn.
So as you fire, as he's running, you do see he begins drawing out the sword, arm kind of flailing, and as you strike him, you hit into one of his shoulders where the armor is protecting him. He looks kind of unfazed, and you watch as the blade bounces slightly, slashing part of his shoulder, and you watch a dribble of blood go down his arm as he's unfazed, sprinting haphazardly after you with his sword drawn.
I'm gonna bonus action shove him. Maybe I can try to trip him.
Ooh, I'll make a strength save. I like that a lot. What did DC 16 succeed?
No.
16 fails. I'm gonna go ahead and say Gonk. He's not gonna be able to do much this turn.
Cool.
All right, we'll continue on. That is gonna be that'll be the Husk's turn. All right, I mentioned there are 5 of them plus Gonk. The other 5. Here's what we're gonna do. You watch as 2 of them, or is 3 of them, kind of going behind your cart, draw out crossbows and are going to begin firing at the party. I'll go ahead and say one of each of the 3 players. I think that makes total sense. Starting with Thorn, that is going to be a math 20. That is going to be a math 19, and Ismini, that is going to be a math 9. My apologies. I'll just actually roll your damages together.
Nope. That misses me now.
That misses you now?
Yeah.
I love it. Love that for you. That is going to be a total of 9 points of piercing damage as you are grazed by one of these bolts. Now, I do apologize. Seeing that they're firing bolts now, the people who are in the cart are able to get into position to get partial cover, +2 to your AC, versus these ranged attacks. That was 3 of them. The other 2, though, you watch. Thorn, they move forward, are going to use their action to use telekinetic leap as they leave the ground. Not so much jumping as ragdolling through the air and crumpling into the bed of the cart and standing. There are now 2 in the cart, but that is their whole turn to do that.
Throw them back out. We need them in a cube.
Huh?
Throw them back out. We need them in a cube.
I'll get him out.
That is going to be Ismini's turn. You also always can hold actions as a reminder.
From where the ones that are running after us are to our cart, what is that distance?
30 feet.
Great, I cast
or less.
slow.
That's so good. Wow. Yeah. Okay. What kind of save is this?
Is there a wisdom save?
It's not up to like 3 targets. It's every
6.
target. The only person you can't hit is Gonk because you took Gonk out for this turn.
That's
so you
fine.
can hit all 5 of the generic husks.
Yep. I don't want to kill him. I just want him to be
Okay.
gone.
What kind of saves are these?
Wisdom.
Okay. That is 16.
Nope.
That's a 16 on the die for those of you curious. Fail, and the fifth one who is on the cart, all of them fail. All 5 husks are now slowed.
Nice.
The 3 in the back with the crossbows are not moving fast enough where they realistically would be able to leap even with that ability.
I love
That was
slow.
so good. You can
So
see the
good.
people who are behind are they're slightly slower than you. You're slowly losing people. Slow is incredible. Oh my god, Ismini. That'll then be my. There are 2 people in the cart with you.
Yeah, that just changed my plan. I'm gonna try to shove at least one of them out.
Ah,
Nice.
no. Okay. You see the 2 people here? They're both, one of them is a half-orc, one of them is a human. They don't look either stronger than each other.
Okay.
Which one do you want to push?
I'll push the half work.
Yeah. Confirmed. My hates half-orcs.
Style on him.
Huh?
Style on him.
Yeah.
That is going to be a 7.
19.
You push him, and there's just a crumple. They don't make sounds as you hurt them here. As it falls over to the ground, stands up, and begins slowed, now rushing towards you. There's now 4 slowed people way far away. Okay? Anything else on your turn, Mai?
Nope, that's it.
Mai, you have 2 attacks. You don't have
No.
2 attacks. That'll be start of the round. It is Ralnor's turn. Ralnor can continue protecting, or can it try to attack the one husk that's with you?
Yeah, he'll protect.
Okay.
He's doing what he needs to do. He's within 5 feet of most of us.
That is going to then be Thorn's turn.
Can I try to just meet myself, try to push him off? If that doesn't work, I can try telekinetic shoving him.
Yeah, shoving replaces 1 attack. You can attack twice as an action. So you can even shove twice if you need to.
Well, I can't attack twice as an action yet.
Oh, right.
So I'll just try to shove him.
Oh, I think I've got you this time. That is going to be an 18.
Roll the 6.
Yeah, okay.
And then telekinetic shove.
This is going to be a 17.
Damn, passes.
Okay, I rolled well for once. That is then anything else on your turn, Thorn? Just trying to push this guy off. You see this human turns to you, trying to draw.
Wait, don't you have the boots?
That's not...
That's athletics.
Athletics.
It's an athletic
Oh, I
check.
have to roll that again?
Okay, what did I say I rolled? A 16 or an 18?
18.
18.
18.
5.
Okay.
Okay.
No, good looking out though, man. I appreciate that. I did forget as well to.
I was trying to remember who had the boots. I was too busy thinking.
So I have 1 husk. The other 4 husks who are. I'll start with the 4 husks who are slowed. They can only make 1 attack, and this will be the last time they're in range because the road is not a straight line. They're gonna be out of line of sight, out of range. I'm gonna make 4 bow attacks here, and I'll say you 2 are the ones who are attacking most obviously. So I will attack both of you twice.
Okay.
First at Thorn. One of them will above a 20, a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that's what's it.
And my, these are rolling. Oh my gosh. 1 misses, 1 hits above a 20.
Okay.
Okay. So was that 1 hit on both of you? Or 2
Yeah.
hits?
2 for me.
Okay. Thorn. That is going to be 15 points of piercing damage, and that is going to be 5 points of piercing damage. These bolts, not a huge issue coming down at you, but these are mostly like one of them scrapes by you, another one gets sunk into your armor and knocks you back, your shoulders striking against the front side of the cart. But you're fine. You're pretty unfazed by this. The one husk who's inside, however, yeah, I guess this makes more sense since you're separating me out. You watch as it slumps to the ground, and you watch as you hear this crack sound as the jaw begins to open up wider and wider, and suddenly this reddish pink pulsing form emerges from within, and coming out this about yay big oval, like a little bit bigger than a football object with 4 limbs, 2 front legs, 2 back legs. This brain with legs emerges from this being. Well, I still have my action. That cost me 5 feet of movement.
Ah!
Huh?
That cost movement!
That cost movement. Yeah, I just moved less than a square from here to here.
Well, slowed.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Grasping Claws on Thorn. Now Thorn does a 21 hit you.
Can I shield?
Yeah, we'll talk about this. This brain with limbs leaps up through the air. This thing is small for even a dog. It's not very big. Leaps up towards you, and as it does, its claws seem to get longer and longer. You hear this loud ringing in your ears, and as you see this coming, bringing your hands up, a torrent of wind, and the creature is knocked back. It'll use a spell slot. Your shield appeared differently here in this moment of vulnerability. It's still active, and moments later the spell dissipates as normal. You're just surrounded by this torrent.
That was weird.
And that was the Husk's turn. I made my gambit and failed. Out of curiosity. Yeah, okay, cool. Never mind. I just wanted to know. That will then be Ismini's turn. Ismini, there is a person on the ground who you saw this creature emerge from, and this weird brain-like object. Do you have any skill checks? Do you have any spells? Do you have any attacks? What you doing?
Is this man's brain?
You can make an Arcana check to know what's happening.
13.
Probably not. Like, brains don't have legs. This is probably some sort of monster. You would know this isn't, like, literally that dude's brain, probably.
Okay.
Hopefully. This is horrifying. It's a gross, disgusting thing, and you don't like looking at it.
Why did I not prepare any first level spells? Because I erased all of them because I was trying to prepare, but then we got here. I would always have Ice Knife.
Yeah.
We'd all get hit by Ice Knife.
Ice Knife's not a good call here. It would hit your whole party, basically.
I'm gonna kick it.
You want to make a shove attempt?
I'm panicking. I'm kicking this thing.
You try to kick. You see, it gets knocked up into the air. It's on one of the. It's grabbing on and crawling on the side of the cart. You try to kick it off. Make a shove attempt with athletics.
18.
Hey.
Yo!
I rolled a 19.
Hey, that's a 9 on the die for a total of 7. It makes a gross sound as it falls to the ground and begins plopping behind. I did forget one thing, so I'm going to get... Ismini, is there anything else in your turn? I wanted to let you know something, though, first.
No, I
did forget. Gonk is still sprinting behind the cart. He was outside of the slow range when you first triggered it, the shove. Only Gonk is left.
I really wish we could have done this quietly.
Please stop your cart. Anything else in your turn, Ismini?
That's my turn.
That'll be my Gonk is gaining.
I'm gonna cast Guiding Bolt.
Sure.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, 28.
As you strike this guy, how much damage did it do?
10, 12 points of radiant damage.
12 points of radiant damage. Gonk is still standing, but now is bathed in a radiant light. And as he does, you watch his head hanging slackened with the wind as he sprints after you.
Next person to attack him has advantage.
Yes, next person to attack has an advantage. You do see this is kind of happening out of phase. His next turn, he is going to use that same telekinetic leap to try to get on there. So he's floating through the air at the moment, heading towards the cart. Yeah.
It's like, what is this? This reminds me of a movie I can't think of.
Ralnor is protecting Thorn. It is your turn. He's descending towards the cart. 15, 20
It's just
feet
the
away.
first attack roll?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to Eldritch Blast him out of the air, like skeet shooting. Just like,
Do you push with your Eldritch Blast? I forget.
No.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be really funny.
You push him so far away.
All right, I'll just do... This one's the advantage.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so both of those will hit. I'm
Only
pretty
AC
sure.
17.
Okay, yeah. The lowest
You're
is
good.
a 14 on the die. Okay. 7 plus 10, 17 points of force damage.
Good news. Bad news. Worse news.
Oh.
So that is enough to take down Gonk. You watch as you fire, striking against him, and you watch as the body crumples into itself. It looks like you must have broken something. As he begins falling towards the ground, you watch as emerging once more is another one of these creatures. And it falls, taking 4 points of damage, looking relatively hurt from that 4 points of damage. As it strikes the ground, and begins sprinting, and you can't help but notice it's much faster than Gonk was as it's chasing rapidly after you. Anything else in your turn, Thorn?
Can I quicken spell bonus action and cast another?
Oh no! Yeah, you absolutely can, dog.
Okay. 2 more blasts.
This thing does not look terribly hardy from what you've seen so far.
Does a 13 hit it?
A 13 does hit it.
Okay, so both hit.
Yeah. Okay. How much damage?
30. I rolled max damage.
Brain explodes. Fully, you fully missed that thing. Now you kicked one off. That's still alive.
It's slowed, but
It is
it's alive.
slow. It is.
Is it not the creature?
No, I think that's cool. It is absolutely still slowed.
Is the puppet the creature, or is the
No.
controller?
No,
the
no.
creature?
It's absolutely still slowed. That's more of a physical thing. The only way that they were separate was specifically in brain. You're not sure why it didn't work. You'll need to do some skill checks later to know why you couldn't read the creatures. You don't even know what these are yet. But one of them slowly running after you. It's 20 movement speed after it's been halved. It's not going to be able to catch up because 35, 40 is where I keep the cart. Because you have 2 well-trained horses. You don't see anyone else. You keep pushing forward. I'm assuming we're going as fast as possible still, right?
Yeah.
Elle is up here, Heckle's up, shoulders up all the way, just wailing, getting the horses to go. You are loud. That's the only downside. Is you are very loud doing what
Well,
you're
they already know we're here.
Yeah.
We just exploded a gate and had guards chasing us.
You know it's going to take you about 10 minutes to get to the ridge where you can see Dunsmith. Are you riding hard all the way?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Oh, Distils just saw that we have the Hydra now.
Yeah.
I love it.
I want to figure out other buttons.
Yeah.
Things to do with channel points.
We'll figure out some balanced numbers. We'll brainstorm over the Christmas break and see, what else we want to do. So, take the dodge action.
Oh, no.
Do you guys want to? So was that a yes to we're
Yes.
pushing hard until we
Yeah.
get to the ridge?
Yeah.
All right, pushing through. Even though it's only early afternoon, it's still a little bit dim from these overcast skies. The rumbling of thunder, shaking the air in the distance. Eventually, Elle pulling back on the reins hard, not realizing quite how close it is. Maybe even having to get called out by Thorn in this moment. The horses rear back, freaking out, and you stop here on this ridge overlooking the valley. Describe a couple of things here. Let's set where we're looking at. First, I want to describe far to the north on the horizon. You see this wide, not the tallest mountain you've ever seen, but you can see that this wide mountain comes down with these 5 large slopes past the town, past Dunsmith, leading down into. You can see this little city nestled with between all of these trees, but it's hard to make out. There's no smokestacks, no obvious torch lights from where you are, and the gray skies above have really obscured a lot of the light. Until a moment later, another crash of thunder breaks out, and you see it up in the sky, the flecks of purple light crashing and flashing inside the clouds themselves. A bolt of lightning strikes below towards the city. You watch as one of the trees closer to the heart of the town is splintered into countless shards. A small streak of black smoke before it dissipates once more. As you're looking here over the city, Thorn, welcome back to Dunsmith. You see off to the west, there is the familiar. I got some notes here. We got some description of this place. You can see off further towards the west is the Mectara estate, the nobleman's manor, which you can kind of see sticking out as one of the larger buildings. There's a river that stretches from east to west where you're looking here, kind of crossing in a T intersection with the road that you're currently traveling on. So you can see that Dunsmith was built at this intersection between Helen's Way and this river that's here, which I don't believe either of you, unless you want to make history checks for me, know what this is. You can talk. You have plenty of information, Thorn.
What's the name of the manor again?
The manor? Mictara Manor.
Thorn, where you stand now, looking past Dunsmith towards the Lion Paw, the mountain to the north, you see nestled just between two of these slopes with a large tunnel. You can faintly see the white stone arch that surrounds the tunnel. Still intact is the Lion's Paw Tavern. The Thorn in the Paw is still standing.
Time
But
to go
first,
home.
you'll have to get through the city.
So that's where we're headed. I'll point out the tavern. You have to go all the way there.
You've traveled far enough that even if those things have been actively running, you're fine. Like, you've got time to chit-chat. But you're not really hidden, so if they are coming, eventually they'll get here. You're on the main road.
Yeah.
We need to keep our wits about us, and I don't think I have the right kit prepared for this.
I think we need to go in on foot once we get a little closer. I think the
We
horses
just-
are going to be too loud. I
We
think
need to do something with the horses, though, because we don't want to just have dead horses.
What are we going to do with them?
I don't know.
Once again, another crack of purple light. You watch this time one of the bolts of lightning, you swear, doesn't arc down, but fires from the city up into the sky itself and dissipates outwards,
Can we-
filling the area with this uncomfortable light.
We go slightly around and not go straight through.
You want to like button hook?
Yeah, like,
Okay.
The biggest difficulty you'd have with a cart will be crossing the river without going through town. The river itself, it's not impossible to like swim, but I don't know if any of you, maybe you do. You guys tell me. I don't know if any of you have the knowledge about fording a river with horses.
No.
The river itself is too deep for them to walk.
Water walk.
Yeah, I mean, that would just make it animal handling, convincing them to try. But
okay.
well, damn, yeah, that's that. Now,
don't need to
again,
learn how to ford a
the
river.
cart, not the cart itself. I believe water walk targets creatures. I know I'm gonna be a jerk.
10 willing creatures.
So the cart itself would be unfortunate.
We'll have to
but-
leave the cart at some point, but
We could just leave the cart by the river, come back for it.
yeah, it doesn't feel like thieves are going to be our problem here.
What are,
No.
Yeah, but the
Bandits
horses,
are a problem. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
But the horses.
If we bring them around the city to the tavern, at least that's a place where it might be a home base for us while we're here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just don't want. I'm oddly attached to these horses.
They're well trained.
They're well trained, beautiful horses.
Okay.
If Tenebris was here, you'd want us to take the horses to somewhere safe.
That's why I didn't bring Tenebris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's do that. Let's head down. I guess get close to the river and then we'll.
You want to try to? You could try to go like westward around the town. Would probably be easier. If you so your goal is to avoid as much of the town, if not all of the town. If
We
you
still
have
want to walk through the center of town.
Yeah.
Maybe walk
Right.
along the outskirt.
Yeah, we want to walk.
Towards-
to. Okay, like
Tavern.
there is farmland out there, but you could pretty easily never be in line of sight of a building if that's your want. If that's what you'd like.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've walked an unsavory walk of shame before.
That's true.
I'm going to do something I don't normally do, and I am going to briefly do a little bit of RP with a player who's not here. Because there was a question that the player has asked, so I do want to go ahead and pass that along. Elle is going to turn to you briefly, and I'll keep this short. Thorn, what really happened here?
It's a little fuzzy, but the last thing I remember was I was sitting by the river with this girl that I was kind of seeing at the time. We saw. No, you're good.
Perfect. Let's take a look at that. Let's jump back. Said by the river?
By the river.
All right. Let's jump back about a year and some change. As the Defiant Smiles make their way far west of Dunsmith, trying to avoid the town. Let's think about when this was a much more joyous place. You're laying here. see you're in this very, very open shirt. It's got buttons, and you're not using nearly enough of them at this point.
It's accurate.
The young woman next to you, 23 probably. Though, as far as her father's concerned, she's still 8. She's not allowed out of his sight. You see young Fiona here is sitting here. You've been rolling some charisma checks, there's a soft giggle in the air. But you see her, but it's been so long since you've really thought about her face. This girl with the sharp blue eyes, just looking at you, a little bit of teasing. You don't have to deny it. You weren't the only one flirting with that new barmaid your father hired.
Listen, I have to talk to the people that I'm working with.
You have to talk to them and examine their posteriors, of course.
I was just checking her form. She was lifting a lot of cups.
Her form?
Yes.
And how is my form? You watch as this young noblewoman, she stands up. She's got this nice green dress, this high-necked thing with this. You remember this small yellow sash? You would a little, kind of like it's not a waist scarf, but they've got this sort of like a elongated yellow belt that you saved up and bought for her recently. She does a little twirl. Is my form not interesting?
Much better.
You're learning. She kind of stands up, looking around. You're at the edges of her father's grove here, sitting just nestled on the river, looking up into a brilliant night sky. She stares up at the moon, shrouded in these mists. It's been lovely lately, hasn't it?
It has.
Though I do hate how much sneaking you have to do to get out of here.
Yeah, well, your father's kind of
difficult. If your father would accept my father's summons and actually come and attend one of the dinner parties, perhaps my father would be more amenable to your offers.
You know he's busy. He's always working at that tavern.
He hired new help. You could make him make the time.
Yeah. He takes convincing, though.
At this point, there's a flash in the sky of brilliant green light. She turns and gasps. You watch a shooting star, this beautiful beacon of green-white light, fly through the air. Thorn, make a wish.
You believe in that kind of stuff?
She turns, puts her back towards the town, towards the flashing light. Anything is possible.
Okay. Well, if you're asking, I'll go ahead and make a wish.
Do you close your eyes when you do this? What does it look like here?
Yeah. Like as a little kid, wish upon a star. Close your eyes when you see it.
You do not have to share, because what's happening right now, this is you telling the story to the other members of Defiant Smiles. Do you share what you wished for?
No.
It is at this point the ground begins to shake. Your eyes quickly flying open, you watch as the green streak flies through the air and strikes the heart of Dunsmith. A pillar of light and flame bursting 100 feet into the sky. You watch as this massive beacon of light forms, and you hear the sounds of yelling and screaming in the distance. One of the sentry towers, located just by the main bridge, falls and collapses, and you hear more yelling and screaming. It sounds like stone plummeting into the river itself. Something horrible has happened. An explosion? Something? Maybe it's one of the merchants, the traders. What happened? She stands, looks. She turns back to you. Laurentius, I'm frightened. What happened?
Go inside. Go see your father. That's the safest place right now. I'm gonna go to the tavern. I need to see my dad.
No. So stay with me.
I have to.
Be safe. Is at this point, and you don't have to share this with your friends if you want to. She turns, embraces you. She's frightened. She's scared. Who let go of each other's hand first?
I let go first.
She lets go afterwards and drifts off heading back, running towards the freshly whitewashed manor behind her, running off in the distance. You turn and make your way towards the town center. Make your way towards the bridge. Thank you guys both. Just taking a little moment here. I appreciate you. We don't do these things often, but
I like it.
Yeah.
Thorn,
I want to know the story.
heading towards the town. What's the plan of attack? You going towards? You're heading towards the main bridge. Are you? What's happening? What's on your mind? What are you doing?
Just knowing where the explosion happened, it was like town center. Maybe just trying to get through that as fast because I just want to get to the tavern to see if Dad's okay. The tavern's
Okay. Dead sprint. You see people running through the streets here. There's so much chaos in the air. You're making your way past one of the markets here. You can see that one of these stone columns. You recognize this from the sentry tower on the other side of the river. Has found its way through one of these smith shops nearby. You see the anvil shattered, and you see one of the dwarves muttering to himself in his language. You don't understand fully what he's saying here, but he's absolutely panicked as you continue booking it through the town. Making your way towards the main bridge, you can see that it looks like the sentry tower actually shattered, and there is now a crater close to the center of town. You see people gathering, looking at it horrified, pieces of the stonework having flown off in different directions. What do you do when you're here? You start the bridge itself is still half up.
Yeah. Run across the bridge.
Okay. Do you stop by the crater?
I'd maybe just like kind of look at it while I'm running.
Okay.
Maybe not stop and look.
You running past, not taking the time to see whatever's happening here. You gotta get to Dad. You have to get back to the Lion's Paw. You begin moving, and the screaming picks up once more. You watch as close to the crater, 1, 2, 3 of these men and women lift up into the sky and are thrown 50 feet, 100 feet into the air. You watch as people screaming, horrified, as the tower once again, the lower portions of it, which have not yet fallen, begin to rise up and crumble, as if tearing itself. And you start seeing the creatures. You watch as this one slithering, looks like an inky black purple tentacle begins crawling across one of the structures nearby. Just this, you mistake it for a snake, but then you realize underneath these strange suction sounds, and another tendril of these things coming closer to you, coming closer to more of your peers. You see one of the town drunks nearby. You watch him as this thing floats around him, spiraling closer and closer until it actually begins to delve into him, engulfing his mouth, his ears, and finally his whole body is wrapped up in this thing before you hear the crunch. And he's silent. It's coming towards you, Thorn. What do you do? These arms, these limbs, and then a floating humanoid figure, purple skin, long, sinewy tendrils rising from where it should just be a face, a beard.
I think I just react and like try to defend myself.
You pull your arms back, covering, protecting yourself, ready to leap back. You've been a scrap before. A flash of light, bright green light, the howling of wind. And you find yourself running once more. Here now, 100 yards, not even, from the tavern. The city behind you now. You look around, maybe you're confused. Do you stop or do you keep going?
Keep going.
You keep going. It's so dark. It's middle of the night at this point. It's later. No longer do you have the faint echoes of the sunset. But you make it home. Your father standing in the entryway. You see him looking towards you, concern on his face. His beard, long since having lost most of its brown, bits of gray in it. He calls up to you. Boy, please. He walks up to you, placing his hands on your shoulder. Are you hurt?
No, I'm okay.
What did you see?
Monsters.
What did you... Taylor! He turns back, calling out for one of the barmaids here, calling out. You hear a woman's voice, muffled, responding. It sounds like things are being thrown about the shop. It's loud, it's confusing. You watch as your father whips out this small silver rod, this strange scepter. This looks like a club, maybe? You're young, who knows? Mm-hmm. Looking around, horrified, you watch as descending, from above. You see another of those human figures. Behind it, not just stars, but flecks of green light flying through the sky. Once more towards Town Center. Dozens and dozens of these lines. You see it now, Thorn, more clearly than you have in months. You watch as your father steps between you and this creature. He tells you, get in the cellar.
I'm not gonna leave you.
Your father turns, upset, wrestling with you, pushing you back as best as he can. What do you say?
Come with me.
The creature, now close to the ground, getting closer and closer. You see now it wears this long cloak, red, purple, embroidered with strange crystals and bits of filigree. It draws ever closer to him. Your father turns and points this small silver club. And that's where we're going to end this little memory. You remember waking up the next day, ears still ringing. I'd say the cart probably has been quiet for a bit. You remember things more clearly now, Thorn.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Last thing I'll do for Elle is, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all of our sentiments here. He's described them in some detail.
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check on this. Mm-hmm. Thorn, normally I would give you disadvantage for describing the story this way. You've weirdly vivid these flashes. There's still huge gaps missing, and that's the part I would say I'm not giving you an explanation for. You might figure something out. Hey man, I can't give you anything.
28.
There are creatures known. This is really cool because that's I guess that's almost 3 successes.
I couldn't get 3. 29 is my
There are
best.
creatures, some know them as mind flayers. Academics know them as illithids. Though whatever he just described, the way he described it sounded, hopefully you're wrong, but it could have been they're technically a greater form of illithid as well, an illurithid, or a greater mind flayer if you don't want to have to spell that. But if there were mind flayers and he was close to one, he should be dead. Exceptionally dangerous, and they're not from this place. With a 28, supposedly, they're from beyond the plains. They're from the far realm.
That shepherd that we met.
Was quite some time ago.
Yeah. This is the wrong campaign. I was like, this.
But yes, you don't have to pull up his name. We can, if you don't
But
have.
yeah, but it's from Dunsmith as
yes,
well.
the shepherd of Dunsmith.
And managed to get away.
Yes, the forests are quite large that surround Dunsmith, and he did confirm he wasn't in the city center. He went and visited the next day.
Yeah, if that's what we're dealing with here, this is an incredibly dangerous place. Also, can I get one more thing with my 28?
What do you want? What do you want to know?
Aberration, celestial.
These are aberrations.
Aberration. Great.
The 28, you also realize that one of the primary servants of illithids are known as intellect devourers, horrible creations made by their foul arcanist abilities. Their illithids are wizards.
Yep.
Without their wizardy powers, they're still incredibly powerful, and many of them cast powerful spells.
We are. This is not good. I will relay in the most hopeful terms possible.
But they can be killed. They bleed.
Anything can be beat.
But you would also say this from your memory now. You know that those two that you saw, 2 illithids, were different ones. So there are at least 2.
But in part of the memory that was described, there was a shape of 3 humanoid figures in the air, which would be at least 3.
Oh no, they threw 3 people hundreds of feet in the
Okay,
sky.
I know they threw 3 people, but I thought they also at some point were just like 3 in like the cloud, like pew 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 pew.
No.
Okay.
You've only seen 2 illithids. The tentacles that were on the ground, the black inky tentacles, were just monsters, magic, who's to say? But they were going around grabbing people, crushing them, passing through walls. It's horrifying magic. Being close to this place, maybe it's your experience as a mercenary, maybe it's your experience as with your new magic powers, but it's given you more clarity than you've ever had.
I think just because of how far outside it is, I think the tavern is probably our best bet to at least set up a base.
15, 20 minutes outside the town center. It's enough where you can still stumble drunk home. But you could just pay extra and stay.
Yeah. Good business model. I don't know how we're going to fix this. Because it's not like we're going to fix it. Like, it's not going to be perfect and we're not going to make everything happy and good again.
Right.
But if there's multiple illithid near city centers, that's not good either.
Yeah.
It's not going to stay a contained problem. And, oh my goodness, there are 5 mountains.
No. It's the
5
Lion's
paths.
Paw's a mountain that has these.
Like 5 peaks.
5
or-
peaks.
I'm so sorry. I've been saying 5. It has 4 slopes.
Yeah.
On a map, it looks like a lion's paw,
Okay, because I was just
like
like,
little nubbins.
would
I've been
his
saying 5, but I
Nini
meant 4.
know
Yeah.
that you find him underground?
Yeah. They're
Okay.
often they'll live underground, but you know you would know with your 28. They're found incredibly deep underground. In Gren, the only reason they normally come up to the surface is because the flooding that happens in tunnels. If they're
Yeah.
driven upwards, sometimes like Drow or Duragar will get into fights with them, but you need to have you need to have a military force to fight them.
Right.
with
We
your
sent a
Grand soldiers.
message to Sophie about what is here.
Maybe.
And that how the fort is controlled by husks.
You've made it to the river's edge.
We'll consider that tonight. I don't have the ability to do it today, do you?
I do.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
You are at the river's edge. You have the cart with you. You could bring a good amount of the supplies. Just the supplies themselves would be limited unless you want to. You could come back to the cart to replenish.
Yeah.
You got supplies for like 2 weeks here, and your journey's been 4 days. You're you can't carry like everything for 4 people and Ralnor on your backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you had a suggestion about possibly trying to water walk the horses across. You could try to hide the cart. You could just leave the cart in the open. Hey, I didn't make you roll for it. You've been able to successfully avoid. You went far enough away from the town that you're like between 2 farms. You could go 3 minutes that way or 10 minutes that way to get to one of the farmhouses, but you're in areas where you're seeing overgrown, untended farmland. Looks like you do see these large troughs which contain just mush now, but you would recognize as these are like herb gardens that have been lots of them. It looks like a large scale operation was once done here.
I'm not sending Squawk up because even though I would assume that they would know we are here, I don't want to give away exact location if I don't have to.
Yeah, I think the focus should just be to get somewhere that we can barricade and then maybe come up with a plan of
Do you have
Yeah.
stables at the inn, I'm assuming?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. We'll just put horses in the stables and pull ourselves up there.
Yeah.
Water walk.
You cast water walk on the horses. Are we going to
us.
try to
And us.
10 creatures?
10
Yeah, you can
creatures.
you can King Arthur this shit. That's fine. Now, what do we do with the cart? Are we trying to hide
We'll
it? Are you
hide
just
the
gonna leave it?
cart.
Yeah, let's like.
I would ask for a stealth check by whoever's doing it. You can
I'm
position
casting
it first.
water walk, so
Sure.
let's do.
You want to make a stealth check here?
Sure.
You probably have higher stealth than I do.
You know what? Here's what
Higher
I'll do.
dex
I'll have
than
Elle give
I
you the
doubt
help
it.
action.
Okay.
I have a 2 on dex.
It's more than me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my apologies. I misunderstood what you were asking. I for some reason had in my head that you were helping Amanda. Helping my
A 10?
A 10. You do your best. The true difficulty here is most of the brush here is so. It has been a year since anyone has used anything here, and so you're not able to get a great hiding spot. But at the very least, if someone's not looking for it, they could overlook it. 10 was the minimum. It's okay.
Now we gotta convince the horses to walk over water.
Yeah, I'm gonna need an animal handling check for each of these horses.
I'll take one.
Merlin and Rada. Merlin is
I can
an easier horse to deal with.
I'll take the easier horse.
I'll take.
Yeah.
I'll take the harder one.
Rada's got opinions.
15.
Success.
21.
21. Here's what happened.
I keep rolling 19s today. That's really good.
Now Rada making a little bit of noise. Just a lot of chuffing and neighing and whinnying. But eventually, because his meanie rolled so well, you got 2 successes. You only got 1 success here. Watching Merlin begin to be led across, maybe a little trepidatious, touching across. Maybe maybe inside of its little horse mind, it's thinking, "Oh, ice or something," but begins following. You couldn't get to Merlin or to Rada to go by himself, by herself, excuse me. But you are able to have her follow.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of noise. Who knows if it was her or not? I mean, that would be like unfortunate if it was. You're able to bring across. I'm assuming you guys now are carrying like satchels, backpacks.
Yeah.
You guys are loaded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horses also have stuff.
Horses have saddlebags. You have roughly half of your supplies here.
Horse food.
Horse food, yeah. If you guys wanted to, you guys could come back and try to just unload the rest in the second trip, but you don't have to. You begin pushing your way towards Dunsmith. Again, are we just we're just gonna, assuming we're heading towards the mountain and then just walking around. We're staying far away from civilization as possible.
Yeah.
As you continue to walk, birds of all manner bursting out from one of these bushes here, flying up into the air, terrified fear. Continue. The brittle grasses beneath you, untended. The strange silence of knowing how close you are to a city center, and yet most of you don't hear anything. But it's there are brief moments where you swear you hear chanting. Voices in unison, quiet and low. Repeating words, long syllabic prayers, hymns in an unknown tongue. But as you get further and further away, it fades off. Or maybe it continues to ring in the back of your mind. Are we going to get back on the road? We're at the last little section since you're between the 2 slopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for whatever mountain we need to.
Just briefly, you finally break the tree line. I'd say Thorn is leading this. Thorn, you step back onto the road itself. Here, sort of this dark blue-gray stone for the road, and you look up between the 2 slopes. You see off in the distance the tunnel, 30 feet up, white trim archway leading deep through the lion's paw, built, you've been told, by dwarves quite some time ago as a gift to the Elfseen people. Just off to the side, right when you emerge from the tunnel, is a large wooden structure. 2 stories, a stable just next door to it. No lights, no torches here. And as we get closer to the later afternoon, you see, even from here, on the lower side, past the main entrance, is the sealed shut, the cellar. So an outside access. You can see, though, however, that on the second floor, close to the top, on the side towards the stable, there is a huge chunk of the corner of the structure gone. You don't see pieces or anything. There's a strange, like, circular area that is just missing. some sort of weird damage has happened here that you don't recognize. It's home, Thorn. Welcome back. No need for a sign. You can see the only sign you ever needed. You didn't need some fancy wooden swinging sign, no catchy name. But open windows that reveal the smell of the kitchens, and a single large oversized torch that goes just by the side of the road, letting visitors know that drink is ready and waiting.
I'll take a deep breath and just whisper to myself, "Here goes nothing," and then start heading towards the tavern.
I'm
Okay.
really worried about what we find inside that cellar.
You make your way closer, seeing very quickly that these stables have been left open. They are, excuse me, mostly open air, where the horses are still able to like physically. You can see through the structure. It's covered, but there are these. They have a gate on one side of each of the horses' pens, and they've all been opened. There are no horses currently in the stables. But there is space for 8 horses. Do you guys want to put horses in? All right, going and latching things. You're able to quickly. You actually can. You know where the lock is, and are able to lock them if you'd like to. You know where the spare key's kept. It's inside. You make your way closer towards the structure. The outside. This pretty plain sort of structure, well made, sturdy. The 4 columns on the outside, however, very smooth, very well crafted here. You don't see the seam between the stonework of how these particular 4 pillars on the outside were made. Between them, fine logs and somewhat faded blue paint on the outside. It's very inviting, though quite damaged. Hello, Jazzy. My little kitty cat. Yeah, she's my love bug. The front door is partially ajar.
Go up and just open it enough just to stick my head in, see what I see.
Pushing open the door, you look into the Lion's Paw Tavern. You see on one side the long bar that you've spent so many hours working at. There is a beam from the ceiling, because it's a 2-story structure. Beam from the ceiling has crashed down, splitting part of the bar in 2. You see further across the room a body, something covered, it looks like, partially in this reddish robe. It's so large. It's a little too tall. You feel great discomfort looking at it. Gazing around some more, though, you see that a couple of the tables have been pushed together on the far side of the room, and atop them are a series of vials and beakers. It reminds you of Gwynwyn's old alchemy lab. Someone or something has been working here. Though when, hard to tell.
Do you want to take a look at that body?
I am scanning the room for traps. I'm not good at finding traps, but I'm scanning the room for anything just like a mundane, like nail,
Those are perception.
swing.
And some people argue investigation, but I have some beef with the logic behind that.
That'll be a 16.
16? You do not notice any sort of indicators of traps, tripwires, those sorts of things.
Cool. I'll move slowly into the room.
Heading on into the room, the beam itself does not seem load-bearing. Looking from what you saw outside, whoever built the building did a great job. It's incredibly hardy. It's a little fortress. Inside, though, you can still see the 4 columns are on the outside, perfectly smooth. No seam on this side either from this stone. It's like someone cut like a perfect cylinder of stone 2 stories high.
I'd like to cast a spell.
I don't like that. What?
Detect evil and good.
You tell me what happens, huh?
Know if aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, undead, and or desecrated areas within 30 feet.
So I always forget if that. It's technically detecting creatures, but I think it's fun to break this rule a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So a reminder that this does not go through walls.
Mm-hmm.
You're using Paladar. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now I will let you know one thing. That creature on the floor, which is technically not a creature, is an object because it is dead,
Mm-hmm.
is an aberration.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, we gotta hydrate.
Uh-oh.
I'm out of water.
Oh, I got you. I got you, Amanda.
Does anything else ping in the building?
Nothing else pings that you can see here. But again, it does not go through walls.
Okay.
Though there are people who say it doesn't go through windows, and I think that's lame.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of windows blocking a lot of things.
Yeah.
The creature on the ground does read as an aberration, and I'll just go let you know it responds quite strongly to your magic.
Don't like that.
All right. Just taking some looks around the room. Does
A couple
it
of
look like
shattered windows, broken portions of things.
but upstairs? Does it look like?
The stairwell to your left, you don't notice very much different at all. It almost looks fully intact.
Okay.
Looks like there was quite a bit of something that went through here. The broken windows, though, near them is where the most damage is. It looks like rain has come through here since the windows have been broken, and so a lot more wear and tear there. But the left side, where the staircase is, seems fine. Do you want to go upstairs?
Yeah.
Look there too. As you head upstairs towards where all of the extra rooms are, looking down that far hallway, now you see a much more obvious issue. On the far end, you see the hole, the missing portion over in this sort of like lounge area you guys have set up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of times where you'd spend when you were younger, or where people would come to be a little less rowdy. The patrons come here, you'd feed them up here, that sort of thing. But you see, as you step through, more instruments, more notes and tools. You see a small scale. These you'd recognize a scale. You've seen merchants. You see this small scale, and on one side are these cylindrical metallic rods that have been placed down. Maybe look like weights, but something's a little bit off about it. And on the other side, you see 5 or 6 bleeding emeralds.
Go grab those,
I just start eating.
pocket them.
You take
Midnight snack.
walking into this room, you see quite a bit of writing. What languages does everyone speak?
Common, Elvish, and Celestial.
That's very convenient because the writing in this room is often in a mixture of common and celestial
Oh,
that is
good.
being used. There's a bunch of magical tools upstairs as well, like a little workshop has been set up. There was a scale that had some weird metal rods and then bleeding emeralds, 5 or 6 of them on the other side. Thorn went. Decent sized stones too.
Okay.
You got quite a few. Are you eating these?
Not
Or are you
right now.
holding them?
I'm holding onto them.
Not gonna eat just
There's
one.
a palpable relief here, like some of the tension around you has been relieved now that these are in your care. But it doesn't last long before you remember how terrible this place is. You can see now upon closer inspection, there are portions of purple, this purpley meat that are suspended in small jars around here with notes that have been taken down. Looking at this, there are measurements of limb width, and there are notes here about this these different parts of illithids. And there's some bit of disappointment from whoever was writing here that they were unable to capture or defeat the Ulurithid, the greater mind flayer, which is much easier to say.
I'm setting alarms around the perimeter that are in my head, not the audible alarms.
Yes.
But in my head alarms.
I love that. Because there are fully shattered windows, like where the window frame has been damaged, and so it's like 5-foot hole in the wall.
I'm doing
downstairs.
it where the torch is.
And
outside.
the damaged part of the weirdly perfect sphere that got cut out of the side of the building, that is upstairs in the lounge where the workshop is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm before I go investigate the body or anything, I'm gonna just do my due diligence and set alarms up.
What are you all doing here? There's genuinely a ton of notes here, so it's gonna be hard to go all at once, and maybe a little hard for you to do some of those checks, but you can help with translating and such.
Yeah.
So we
My
have
alarm
like
takes 10 minutes. So I'm gonna be busy.
we have like an alchemy lab. We have this little like kind of workstation that looks like someone's been working at. Is
There's
there any
notes on
indication?
emeralds, and there's notes on there's a bunch of notes, but notes on emeralds and illithids are the first thing that come up.
Is there any indication that like they might be sleeping here or taking camp here? Or
Do a
anything like that?
survival check. Are you trying to see how recently someone was here?
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. That is cocked. 8.
With an 8, you can't really particularly note it. You don't see any signs that someone has been here terribly recently. A lot of these tools have quite a bit of dust on them, though looking to see if someone's been in the building and not on the tools, hard to tell. It's too disturbed. Up here with that hole, a lot of things have... There's dust on the portions that aren't underneath it, and then there's just wet ruin on the other part of the room.
Okay.
It does seem that the workshop, however, is built entirely out of the way of that hole. So the hole precedes the workshop.
Okay.
You've set up plenty of alarms. That's totally fine.
What about the alchemy lab what looked like an alchemy lab downstairs?
Yeah, it looks like these additional tools. As you get up closer, you notice several pieces of surgical equipment, a lot of vials of this coagulated purple blood, and it becomes very clear that someone has been dissecting this dead illithid downstairs.
Is there?
It stinks in here then.
It does not stink in this room. You want to look for the source of the magic?
Is there a way into the basement
Yeah.
from inside?
I'm looking.
No, the cellar itself is only accessible from the outside.
Okay.
There is a small wine cellar that's accessible from the kitchens, but they're not connected.
Okay.
Heading on over to look through, the wine cellar appears mostly intact. Everything's still... There's booze here, though I wouldn't trust the barrels of beer.
There are no bodies other than the illithid.
There's only an illithid corpse. You go around looking at the rooms, bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah.
There's same 6 or 8 bedrooms. I'm being rough with these numbers here, but kind of looking through, you don't notice anything in particular. One of the rooms has like a blown out window. That room is ruined, but the others are mostly just incredibly dusty and poorly maintained. It smells a little musty in these rooms. It's only downstairs that has no scent whatsoever.
Let's check out the cellar.
Detect magic? As you go over and try to investigate the cellar, a little bit of problem here. I'm going to pause you because there's a no but here.
Okay.
As you head on over and you begin detect magic, investigating, spending a little bit of time looking, or was that alarm or detect magic?
Detect magic.
Detect magic? I don't want to look at Connor when I say this. It takes you a little bit of time, but something pings. There's something casting some sort of... It's related to prestidigitation. The spell is clearly a personal spell to whatever made this or whatever tool this was. As you take a few steps over, you find a silver pocket watch that is radiating the spell. The pocket watch itself, it has a sigil on it. This series of lines and arcs, meaningless to someone without a good bit of arcane knowledge. Make me an Arcana check.
$16.
This is the watch of a magister of the Setla Dominion. A Dominion mage has been here. The little spell here, you could dismiss it. You can, looking at this tool, you're not sure what other function it has on first glance, though you could dismiss this spell at will.
Why are they everywhere? Who is the Dominion mage that was here? I'm just like,
Is there anything personal in these notes? Because I'm just sitting there reading
I
through all
need an
these notes.
investigation check. 'Cause you know this is gonna take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I got so much juicy information.
Good one.
Investigation. 18.
Okay. I'm gonna roll 2 dice. I'm gonna ask you if you want high or low. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh. They're touching. Do you want? No particular reason. Do you want the 11 or the 12?
Let's go with 12.
You find a sort of strange, out of place document here. It shows a small tunnel network, it looks like, beneath town. Strange, arcing directions in different places. There's a section on it. It's hard to identify where this physically is. And you notice there's a section here with a strange sort of crescent shape. I think the right way to word this, because I'll be very, very precise and clear. This page. Whoops. The readings from the rift are consistent with Logan's measurements. And it's up to you if you're reading aloud or telling people about this.
I'll tell them.
that means nothing to me. Except
Yeah.
for the word rift is just tickling the back of my brain.
Yeah, there's a marker for something called a rift in a tunnel.
Did you
Probably
s-
not
Thorn?
anything.
did you say Logan?
Mm-hmm.
You are having a hard time opening the cellar, even though you've already unlocked the lock with the key. You're just, as you pull back, it's like frozen. It feels like it feels, I don't want to say glued shut. It feels like there's a ton of bricks on it as you try to move it. It's not shaking even. It's just you're not able to open this. Might have to damage it. You're not quite sure. But yeah, you can hear because the windows are upstairs.
No.
I'm not gonna knock this.
Okay. Weird.
Heading back in, you can hear what Mai is saying. You can go check out the corpse.
I found
Ella's keeping watch. I
Okay.
think just for convenience for right now.
a watch. A pocket watch.
Mm-hmm. Take a look at it.
Okay. Not familiar.
You look at this.
I don't know.
It's doesn't look super familiar.
It's why it doesn't stink in here.
That's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Dominion mage
Yeah,
watch.
it's actively there's a very soft ticking that you can tell the spell is on, but you don't know if you turn it off if you can turn it back on.
Right, I'm not going to be turning it off.
No.
But it's a Dominion mage watch.
Okay. I don't know of or remember any Dominion mage that was even around this area.
Yeah, but that means somebody's
Been here.
You learned about the Dominion in Elts.
Yeah.
right. Somebody's come here.
Mm-hmm. Killed something, or
Found it dead.
found it dead,
Found
whatever,
it dead.
and
killed it.
has been doing some kind of experiments and taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
And in the notes, it mentions Logan, which is a weird coincidence because that's my father's name.
That's weird.
Very weird.
That's
Victoria's
weird.
smiling.
All right. I'm so excited to find out Daddy Thorn is like insane.
Well, he clearly married a drow, or like had a child with a drow.
Yeah.
Tunnels, going through mapping out tunnels, so
Tunnels?
underground.
Could reading.
Did you put the
How does-
alarms on the windows, or did you go outside?
I went
and,
outside.
like, mark the road a little bit.
Where the I see where the torch was.
Tink, 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 tink.
Squawk out.
What do you get to know, or is it just that it was crossed at all?
It was crossed.
Squawk. Flies out. You going through his eyes?
Yeah.
4 individuals approach, clad in white garb. Some sort. There's some sort of white cloth obscuring something on their hips. They march in lockstep towards the tavern. Human, by the looks of them, though their hoods do obscure quite a bit of their faces. They're a little bit varying in size. They're marching closer.
I'm gonna hide.
Yeah.
You hear them faintly chanting and whispering to themselves, repeating the same expressions. A hymn, perhaps. Dora Khan. Morotuban. Doru Khan. And that's where we're going to end our session here tonight, guys. I said 4? Just 4 cultists. Or maybe they're friends. Or maybe they're carolers.
Maybe they're carolers. It's
We'll
right
find
time of
out
year for it.
next time. Well, thank you guys so much for playing. Connor, you've been a terribly good sport. I hope you know that. I told Connor a little bit of things.
A little bit.
About a year ago, when we talked about starting the second campaign, I talked to you a little bit about this idea you had for your character. Loved it. And I asked if you wanted to know what your deal was. And I believe your answer was no.
Nah.
Yeah, you don't want. You wanted to know only what you had to.
Right.
And now you get to learn some things that version of me came up with.
That's fun.
So let's
excited.
Fun.
I'm excited. I'm sure that Clella is going to very much enjoy getting to see what happened here tonight, but also will enjoy really diving into this mystery.
Yeah, seriously.
So next time when we come back, you've got 4 Christmas carolers outside, but it'll be almost New Year's by then, and so
Yeah.
you can send them away.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Amanda and Victoria, for doing a great job with the mystery part, and also being good sports about a little bit of a flashback. We don't get to do those sort of things very often. We had sort of one with when Elle and his meanie left, and we had some stuff with Gwynwyn's past. We haven't done a lot with Mai, I don't think, yet in terms
No,
of
not
flashback.
yet.
But maybe. Who knows? Maybe we'll talk about back when Coralon died.
Oh.
Yeah.
We could go relive that moment.
But for now,
Not say we did.
what if we all took a break, put the dice away? Well, put the dice to the side, and go enjoy a little holiday break. Thanks for being my players as always. Happy holidays. And we'll see you 2 weeks from today for the next session of Stories to D4. Good night, everyone.
Bye.